scores quick. Our disaster recovery requires even more discs. Put your pipes up, prove it or you forfeit. Got my C64 and we blew it into orbit. M. Bison with 8 straight perfects. Overbold emotions make hate break circuits. In case you heard, it's a name fake service. Optimize our runtime to escape verdicts. Got an integer scope flow that they can't sign. Passing code, didn't sanitize command lines, landmine. So before they'll see me after, I'm advice star, courage, woe plus velociraptor. Don't prove we're human unless we really have to. My team built schemes that destroy, recapture. Hate what they see, finish this chapter. By the way, we're not any geeks, we hack into NASA. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring. I'm just waiting till my BlackBerry dies, cause I'll replace it with the Raspberry Pi. Don't compare to this track, it makes everything they said dull. Neutralize any threat, turn Red Skull to Dev Null. They killed virus writers that we mentioned, but instead they ascended to the VX heavens and reincarnate as live wires. Still inside we hide ciphers and sign device drivers. Which school will we hit next? They didn't learn the format, so we've got a print F. Next step is a chin check. Freestyles that I spit best, they didn't decrypt yet. I crush internet MCs and rhyme battles. Get your Wi-Fi tackled, hacked by pineapple. I don't think you'll like my Snapple, cause I popped it with vodka in a cyanide capsule. We drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things.
You know there's gonna be security, right?
First we drink all the booze, then hack all the things. Then backdoor the firmware on anything you bring, regardless of the hardware, service or encoding. Connected to the internet and someone's gonna own it. This is for the pirates that clap and love the sound. Attacking from the cloud, then we're backing underground. There's no masking from us now. We pop tour nodes around the globe, track and hunt you down. Packed on schedule, added to your calendar. Devices online, here comes another challenger. State infiltrated, so undercover. This is for my comrades who stare at the debuggers and trace every buffer. Examining the code flow, haven't been to sleep, better pop another no-dose. I think I'll need a planet-sized urn, cause some men just wanna watch the world burn. Your turn.
Stay out of jail.
Technologically possible, yeah.
Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring.
I mean, these servers have more firewalls than the devil's bedroom.
Hack all the things. Drink all the booze. Hack all the things. Hack all the things. Hack all the things. Things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring. Hack all the things.
Yeah, well, good luck, man.
They still give me wings. Drink all the things. Drink all the vodka and pack all the booze. Drink all the booze. Hack all the hackers. Hack all the
Not every geek with a Commodore 64 can hack into NASA.
This one's dedicated to all the hackers. Yo, even out, settle scores quick.
This one's dedicated to all the hackers. Hi, welcome to UHC, the Ultimate Hacking Championship, CTF. I'm Marina Chavada. For those who don't know me, I am a social engineer, and I'll be your host tonight for tonight's match. So welcome everyone. So UHC CTF is run by Hacking Esports. Hacking Esports is the company organizing the CTF. So it's a Brazilian company. The creator, Igor Rincon, founded Hacking Esports company and turned UHC into its first hacking championship. So the goal is to have a lot of them, is to have a bunch of CTFs going on. And there's a whole set of UHC social media profiles if you want to know a little bit more about it. The truth is, it also mixes CTF with esports because, well, it is a live CTF that we're transmitting here now on Twitch, and we're gonna have not only me but more narrators. So this, dynamic kind of dynamic. It's quite new for CTF for hacking, and it's well known on the esports side of things. So we try to bring those two things together, and that's pretty cool. So we actually have the Brazilian live going on the Brazilian channel, and we're like the English kind of counterpart. And that's why I keep looking at different screens to be sure whatever is happening to our Portuguese, to our Brazilian, brothers and sisters there. I'm Brazilian myself, so that's why you're gonna hear me struggling a little bit with English tonight. But please bear with me. I am, two cans of energy drinks down already, and it's probably gonna get worse. So if you like UHC, you can join us on our social media or our Discord server. That's where the magic happens. Not only the championship itself, it's broadcasted from Discord, but if you want to participate in the qualifying rounds for being on tonight's match, you can find that on the Discord channel. If you want to participate, you can just exclamation point commands or exclamation point Discord on our chat, and the bot will give you the link. Or you can find Hacking Esports in any social media that you like and go for the link in the bio, and there's going to be all there, and you can find the Discord server. I'm pretty sure y'all are very smart. You can find your way in. So I mean, there in the Discord, you can meet all of us and all of the players and the staff as well, and discuss a little bit about CTF and all. So that's pretty nice. I would like to thank all of our sponsors and partners here. So X Labs and Kraussek and Hecate Inc., all Brazilian companies. X Labs and Kraussek are pretty dope. Hecate Inc. is my own company. So that's all pretty nice. You should go check them out. And if you want, of course, be one of our partners or sponsors, let us know. Either helping us with the cash prize, or because there is a cash prize tonight. As each of our live streams, we go live every week. So every week we have a new match with a new winner and a new prize. So that's pretty nice. And I think that's pretty much it. I would also like to thank our staff. Off screen, we're going to have help from Isa the whole night. So, she deserves our love as well. Well, I am going to stop talking and introduce my other co-host. So I'm going to bring Dual Core here. I'm going to bring into 80. Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, husband.
Hey.
For those who don't know, we are husband and waifu officially. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. I am Marina's husband, the rapper in Dual Core. I hack computers for a living and make rap music about it. And you can find all of our rap music, or most of the rap music, on most of the platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, etc., pretty much wherever you get music. And Dual Core is a group. It's myself as the rapper and C64, producer from the UK. And we just collaborate over the internet. We've played a few shows together over the years. We've put 6 albums out since 2007. And I have no idea how many shows we played. I think we're probably maybe in the thousands at this point. But we have a blast doing it, and we're still making music. And we're waiting for the pandemic to be over so we can rock shows with all of you live again. But until then, we are here commenting and narrating UHC tonight, doing CTFs.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty dope. So let's bring our most esteemed guest to our stream as well. So here you have the wonderful, the marvelous, the very cute Dade. Sup, Dade?
Hi.
What up?
Hi.
Hi. I'm picking up the Valley Girl a little bit there. Hi. Bye. I practice that more than I care to admit. Yeah, how's it going? This is good to be back.
Yeah, thanks for rejoining us. We thought we scared you off last week.
Yeah, no, it was great. Actually being back on Twitch last week for this kind of encouraged me to get back on Twitch on my own yesterday. So I built a watch on Twitch yesterday.
Yeah, I saw
super
that.
fancy. It's yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was stressful, but cool little analog hobby to get away from the digital every day. So
I wish I had that kind of talent. But, but anyway, so welcome everyone. So for those who don't know what CTF is and are not understanding like what is going on, so CTF is it means capture the flag. So you might have heard that going out to play games with the kids, or going for a match of any kind of video game that might for example a shooting game, or if you ever went to airsoft, is that how you say it here? Paintball, for example, too. So it's kind of
laser tag.
Yeah, it's kind of a game format where you have to go after flags that are on the play field. You have to go through challenges to get to those flags and ensure and capture the flags. So you have points for your team and then or for yourself, and at the end, who has more flags wins. So it's that exact game format, but applied into hacking. So that's what our challengers are going to be doing here tonight. We have a digital play field. We have a virtual environment, virtual machines and challenges built exactly for the CTF purpose. So don't worry, no one's breaking into anyone's system. There's nothing illegal going on. This is all very actually very safe. It is a very nice way for these kids to practice their technical skills. So the challengers are going through technical skills, computer wise, and breaking into a few systems to find these technical flags. And once they have that, they submit the flag to get points. And at the end of the night, whoever has more points wins. That's pretty simple. So everything is done. All the infrastructure is done, especially for UHC championships. So it is an exclusive infrastructure for UHC, developed each week differently by the organizers. So yes, that is a lot of work, including the qualifying machines as well. They are different from the championships from the championship ones, of course, and they are also done, week by week differently. So that's a lot of work. So kudos to our organization. If you guys want to say anything else about what's at CTF.
Yeah, I really like the setup here. So it's basically like, imagine that you wanted to learn how to hack, or you wanted to learn a particular thing about hacking, right? But you can't just go break into companies or break into organizations because that's illegal. But you could do that with a special setup that's made specifically for the purpose with the consent for hacking. And that's kind of like what we have here. Like Marina said, the structure is made specifically for this hacking setup. And what's really cool is that I think the players, they have to go through 2 rounds of this, or like, well, one previous round and then this round. So there's a preliminary round, which happens on Saturday. And they take UHC, we take the top 10 players from that prelim round. And then those are the players that you'll see competing tonight. And as Marina said, it's a completely different set of challenges every Saturday and every Sunday. So these players that finish in the top 10 from yesterday, they have no idea what's coming tonight. And neither do we, actually. So we're going to be kind of like speculating on what the players are doing. We'll be seeing their screens and talking about what tools are running, or maybe the methodology or the approach, and sharing some experiences that we've had around this. But we honestly have no idea what the challenges look like or what it's going to take to get these flags.
Yep, this should be fun. All right. Dave, do you want to add something about CTFs?
Respect to the organizers. I didn't realize they were building a completely new set of challenges every Saturday and every Sunday. That is a ton of work. So I'm excited to see what the new challenges are going to entail tonight.
Yeah, it's impressive. And I just wanted to add in that a lot of the challenges that I see week to week, they appear to be pretty realistic. So, I mean, not only do you have to have an understanding of how to build the vulnerable software in a contained environment, but you also have to figure out like how that looks like and what you think an attack chain should play out as. And so that's like pretty knowledgeable. And then to be able to put that all together and do it twice in 1 week, just as Jade said, kudos.
Yeah, it's wild.
Well, let's meet then the players who managed to get into tonight's match, going through our qualifying rounds yesterday. So the qualifying rounds are always the Saturday before the actual match, and they go throughout the whole day. So it's like 12 hours or something of qualifying match. And here are the ones that qualified for tonight. All right, so it's our 18th edition. Wow. All right. So we have Hello.
Hola.
Hello is one of our players. Hello. I think we've seen him in one of the past matches, right?
Yeah, I've seen Hello in at least 1 or 2 matches previously.
All right. So it's not a newcomer, but also not such not such a big veteran there. So. All right, we have Luska. Luska is a veteran. He has been playing for weeks now, right? I think probably months. We always seen him around.
Yeah, I feel like Luska is in most of the UHCs on Sundays, meaning they consistently qualify top 10.
Which is very impressive. Some of the qualifying matches have like, it varies week to week, but we already had one with like 70 people playing. For playing on Sunday, on this Sunday live. So that is very impressive that Luska is being able to constantly get himself in the finals.
Yeah.
All right, so we have Arcade or AK or Arcade. Arcade. Oh, no, I don't know how to say that fucking name, but
did we agree on the pronunciation last time? I know they've been on before.
I don't know. I'm gonna say that as just as I want. So you're Arcade to me.
looks like Arcade to me. Or we could go like Kaforda, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say Forkad or Forkford or something like that.
So also not a newcomer. We've already seen this challenger here a few times already.
Yeah, Forkford.
We also have Big Zero Us or Big Us. I don't know how to say your name. Sorry, kid.
Yeah, like figuring out the pronunciation of the handles is probably the most challenging aspect, right? We see like hacking happen and we're just like, oh yeah, that's easy. Like they're just overwriting this part of memory. It's going to be a use after free, no big deal. But we're like, how do you pronounce that handle? Like,
I've been called Oxdade many times. Just to throw that one out there.
Oh yeah, like my handle's int80, and people were like intox80. I'm like, what? Who are you talking to?
I mean, you cannot blame them. You know, it's a pretty weird way.
Oh, I can, and I do.
All right. So we have Go Nasty. That was
I think
easy.
it's Gonesty, like dynasty, but Gonesty. Yeah, it's a dynasty of having gone.
Oh my god.
It's like Duck Dynasty, but go Gonesty.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a newcomer for those who are wondering. We have Smoke Nerd.
I think Smoke Nerd has
Also a
been
newcomer.
Really?
Really? I don't remember him.
Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember, but once again, I'm not very, good at remembering people's name. But so it may or may not be a newcomer. It's the newcomer of Schrodinger.
What if it's someone that just switched their handle, and like what if I play and like 1 week I'm Alfonso and everybody thinks it's Alfonso, but really it's me? That would be a disgrace to Alfonso. I wouldn't do that.
That would be fucked up.
You'd be like int 80, and then like the next week you'll come in as like int 81, int 82. Yeah. Like nobody will catch on.
Int 79.
Okay, so we have
1x'd.
We have Ricardo too. Ricardo is also not a newcomer. He has played a few rounds already. We have DKGH in Portuguese, DKGW. I don't know what that means, but whatever.
Yeah, no, that's it, definitely.
And I think also a newcomer. I haven't seen this player around.
I believe so, yeah.
We have Gabriel Vernilo. So Vernilo, also a veteran. He has played like a lot of the challenges already, a lot of the CTFs, UHC CTFs already. And we have Felipe Vasque. I believe his name is actually Vasco, because that's a common Brazilian name, and I don't know if he just got lazy or whatever, but
no, it's anonymity. Nobody will know who he is if he just takes off the last letter or two.
It's such a mystery. And that's pretty much it. We have all of our players for tonight's match. And
some formatting issues apparently.
Yes, someone's been struggling with the presentation.
I'm sorry, it's my first time doing Keynote. Okay, I don't I've done it before.
All right, so I guess the Brazilians are already starting to go for the live match. So I'm gonna share my Discord screen here, so we can see what other players are doing.
Dope.
As soon as I find my Discord. Oh, right. Here it is. So we have 10 players tonight, and all of them are live, streaming their own screens. And that is one of our rules tonight. Sorry. So they have to stream their screens at all times. They cannot go offline. If they go offline, they have around like 5 minutes to go back up if they are having any connectivity issues or VPN problems or whatever technical problems they might be having. But one of the most important rules is to stream at all times, not just because we would like to see what they're doing, but also because, it's live hacking. And that's already pretty hard to control on what people are actually doing on their screen. So we kind of want to make sure they're not attacking each other or attacking the infrastructure, which is all of that can disqualify you, or they're doing cybercrime live on Twitch, which not only can disqualify you, but not very smart there.
Oh, I thought you were going to say cybercrime, which is the best kind of crime.
That is statistically true.
Statistically, yes.
The best kind of truth.
I've seen researches, yes, that say that for sure.
Numbers, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. But yeah, right. So each of the players here are isolated in their own channel, right? And so they can share their screens and we are able to view their screens, but they cannot see each other's screens. Now, what they could do, and I'm not saying that they should or should not do this, but what they could do is watch both streams, the Brazilian and the US stream, and see what, you know, two other players potentially are up to at the same time. I'm not saying that you should or should not do that, but as a CTF player, I try to get as many flags as I can, however I can.
Yes, and since we don't know what the challenges are, we might or might not, give hints, and that's actually very possible. There is no rule saying that we cannot, give hints on the live stream. So that's that's part of the mind game. You have to pay attention at, two live streams at the same time that you're going through the challenges, and keeping an eye on the scoreboard and going after the flags. So it's a lot to do. And this is a very fast CTF. We're going for 3 hours max here, but those 3 hours can be shorter if any of the challengers submit all the 3 or 4 flags from tonight's match and get all the points. So if any one of them do that before the 3 hours, then the match is over. So that's a lot of factors there into the mind games. So.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that I saw this JavaScript up on the screen just now, and there was some nasty looking regular expression in there. And there's definitely a part of my brain where I would try to parse that regular expression, and I would just sit there for like 3 minutes and be like, what input matches this and validates it?
Yeah.
Or I would just like copy it and paste it into Google and be like, what is this a copy and paste from somewhere that I can just learn right away?
Looking straight for the regex. I like that. I'm quick to regex pal and regexer and like all the different regex sites to try to figure out what's going on, because like simple regex is like, oh yeah, that makes sense, and then you start adding in a couple of questions here and there and a couple of groupings, and you're like, oh well, it's basically encrypted now. So
yeah. It's dog science. Like I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
There's like the thing that gets me is like the callbacks where you can like reference into like previous groupings and everything. It's like beyond my wizard level.
Yep.
So for those who want to keep an eye on the scoreboard of tonight's match, here is the link right here. So uhc.sec.br/scoreboard, and you can see people getting points as we go. It is important to remember, everyone, that the way that we count the points is whoever gets the points first has advantage. So even if at the end of the night we have a tie, with people submitting the same flags, the person who submitted first has the advantage. Therefore, if it is a tie, the person who submitted first will win. So, for those who like to sit on flags, that is a very dangerous, strategy to do in this game format.
Yeah, hack faster.
Yeah, but there's no... Yes, absolutely. I was going to say there's no Afonso this week. Afonso is our notorious player who will sit on flags. And basically, I think Afonso's strategy is to just go for root, right? And then kind of pull all the flags in from that vantage point, which, I mean, that's a valid strategy. If you've got access to everything, that means you've got access to all the flags potentially. And it just, sometimes it pays off, but sometimes it doesn't. It's risky.
So I was just gonna give a shout out to the XLab sponsor. This is like a very cool thing that they are doing here. As you can see on the screen, they are looking for people to, for positions in their cybersecurity team back in Brazil. And this is really nice because looking for people at CTFs is a very smart strategy, because you can see how skilled they are. Not only that, but how is their thought process, or if they go for the hard flags, or if they are even trying. Like you can see people having fun and actually working at the same time and putting their skills at test. So this is a great place to discover new talents or to train old talents. to put your own, your own employees or yourself to play these games to sharpen your skills. So this CTF is like a very nice, training and recruiting tool, I think.
Absolutely. And it's probably my primary piece of advice to people that are starting out in InfoSec is to play CTFs, play VulnHub, play Hack the Box, do like CTFs that are relevant to something that you're interested in the field, and then publish write-ups about it. And the reason that I like this approach is because you kind of build a portfolio, right? Your resume might not have the work experience of somebody else that's interviewing in the same position, or may not have like certifications or the same education background or whatever. But if I can go look at your GitHub and I can see the kind of code that you write or the kind of write-ups that you publish, I have an idea of the kind of work that you're going to do working on my team. And that's like way more valuable than having to look through a resume and just kind of guess at a candidate's ability based on their GPA or where they went to school or something that they did in a previous job. Dade, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the write-up is really the key element. Like that's something. Okay, so I was an English major for a couple of years, and just to preface, but the benefits of doing the write-up, not even just from the portfolio perspective, like that is great, right? Like if your options are to go in and try to impress them in 4 hours of interviews in a day, or send them your website and you have 10 years, maybe 10 years is wrong. You have like a year worth of write-ups in
10
there.
months.
yeah. 10 months of write-ups. Like that shows, that's going to speak a lot more for you than anything that you can get conveyed in just that, couple of hours in an interview. And the benefits of doing the write-ups, I don't think that those benefits can be overstated, because not only does it give you that portfolio, but it's helping you to better learn how to format your thoughts and like convey that information. And like InfoSec jobs, yeah, there's some hacking, there's some fun, there's some shells, but like so much of it comes down to like how can you adequately convey the attack chains that you used. Sorry, I said I wasn't going to say attack chains anymore. The root canals that you used. And like, can you adequately convey that? Can you adequately, like, can you structure a write-up such that I can quickly glance over it, have an idea of what the final impact was, that sort of thing. And like, that's being able to organize and structure your thoughts like that, in whatever language you want to. Like, I think there's a lot of, I don't know if there's actually a lot of write-ups in other languages. I don't see them published as much, but I think that's, even if I don't understand Portuguese, for instance, like if that's what you can write in, that's what you should write in. Because even though I'm not going to be able to say like, oh yeah, I understand necessarily like the prose, but I definitely understand the output from your shells and like, I'm going to recognize technologies and stuff like that, and I'm going to be able to pick it out. So yeah, definitely do write-ups. And if you fail a challenge, go read other write-ups and learn how to do it better next time,
Yeah, and I think we kind of talked about this maybe when Oh My was hosting, but how like you can still play CTFs or hack things that are in other languages. So like I've played CTFs that were in other languages before, and while I maybe didn't understand what all of the text in the challenge was, or maybe when I've read a walkthrough in a different language, I may not understand all of the writing, but code is code, right? Mm-hmm. Commands are commands. So when I see somebody run FUF and then they highlight that they found this page, I get like what's going on there, and I don't necessarily have to monitor the language to see, is it grammatically correct or is all the spelling right? But I just wanted to see like what the workflow looks like. How did you think your way through this problem? Or yep. Like, what are you experiencing? And this applies to like all disciplines of InfoSec. It's not just pen test and red team and offensive security type stuff. It can be anything. It can be blue team. It can be forensics. It can be threat hunting. There's like all kinds of stuff out there that you can do, and you can build these write-ups, build these solutions, build these walkthroughs. And I think that like having a consistent publication tempo is super valuable. That shows me that you continue to like push yourself. You continue to like teach yourself new things or work on things that you're interested in. And to me, that's super valuable as a potential employer.
Yeah, and I get on my social media, I get a lot of people that are starting and or not even starting, but want to have a little bit more of attention or highlight from other people in the field, and they come asking me like, "What should I do?" And I'm like, "You should start, producing your own content and putting out there and sharing what you're doing, what you're learning." And people are like, "Yeah, but like, there's a lot of people already with social media profiles talking about it or blogs or whatever. So I'm going to be just one more person doing that, making that noise." And I'm like, yeah, be that person, because even if you like may not be, unique or a genius, doing something for the first time, that doesn't matter. First of all, you're on your learning process. That's going to help you a lot. That's going to teach you a lot. Not only to put content together, but to reinforce what you're learning there, what you're teaching there, and second of all, that might help someone. Maybe everyone that's doing it is doing in a specific way that is not being clear enough or easy enough for those who also want to learn it. So maybe your learning process is going to help someone that has the same kind of process as well. And your content may be that, that one differential for someone needing out there. So do not be afraid of content production. Do not be afraid of sharing your own learning process or, making something because other people have done it before, because then you're putting out, you're shutting down the chance of actually making a difference and learning even more and having fun as altogether. And that's not very smart.
Yeah, I think that like I especially when I was doing some mentorship for like high school students and stuff like that, one thing that I heard a lot of was like, oh well, why should I write about this? I'm just learning it from other people's write-ups. And like the reality is that you're probably going to get the most benefit if you're writing the content for you. Write your write-ups for you. Write your blogs for you. You'll see a lot of people who are a lot of very prominent people, a lot of very experienced people in the industry will like make joke tweets about like, oh yeah, I went to look something up and it turns out I was the first Google result. And like that is kind of how it happens, because you're writing down the things that are valuable to you so that you can reference them back later, and then you're sharing them so that other people can reference them. And I think that that's really, really important. And then the other thing that like something that I struggle with personally is like, I know some things very well. I know Nmap very, very well. And I just assume that everybody knows Nmap very, very well because I do. And that's something that like I often overlook because I didn't write about a lot of my experiences as I was exploring Nmap and getting better at all of the little details of it. And so I didn't write those things down. And so now it's just in my head and I don't know what other people know and what other people don't know. So if you write as you're going along the way, that helps to remind you of where somebody who's, less experienced may be, instead of assuming that, the knowledge that you have is knowledge that everybody has.
Definitely. And taking those notes is a huge time saver. I like Freedom's point there in the chat saying employers are looking for passion. I'm excited about, can people learn things on their own, or are they going to need mentorship? Like, and I mean, it's okay. Like some people are more self-starters and pick up things on their own than others. And that's also fine. Like there's ways to work with that. Right. But I just want to get a feel as a hiring manager. I want to get a feel for the candidate. Like who am I going to be hiring to work with me and what are they going to be doing?
Yes. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to go back to Dade's point about write your notes and your blogs for yourself. And when I started to reverse engineer, I took copious notes. I wrote like very detailed, like why I did this thing. I looked here. Why did I look here? Like I set a breakpoint on this address. Why? Like what got me to that point? And then when I would go off from reversing and I'd like come back, 6 months later and try to crack a protection that I hadn't looked at in 6 months, I'd pull up those notes and I'd be like, oh, right. Yeah, I need to like look at this thing because it does this. And fortunately, I had written those notes or the blog post for myself.
Hi, Shikina. Thank you for coming into the chat and leaving me a cute message. As I was gonna say, whenever I'm gonna hire someone or I'm looking, into them to get them know a little bit more, recommend them to other positions. For example, a lot of companies come to me asking for recommendations of people that I know. So what I'm going for, looking at people, what people are putting out there, is their thought process. Like I am, the way you write, your points, the design that you choose or you don't choose. I take notes of everything. Like, what do you think is important to share? How are you sharing? Why are you sharing? To whom you're speaking to? So I'm taking notes a lot of all of that. And of course, I'm not here saying that you're gonna have to be a professional content producer or a professional coder, and your GitHub has to be perfect. It's none of that. I'm gonna get to know you by what you think is important, and maybe what you think is important is the content itself. So you're not gonna spend any time putting little ribbons on it. You're not going to spend time thinking about design or none of that. You're going to go for the kill. You're going to go for the content. You're going to go for the codes itself. And that's great. Now I know you're like a really good go-getter. Like you really, know your stuff, and you're going to dedicate yourself to get to know more. If you have a cool, pretty design and your content is, not record breaking or anything like that, I know that at least you're gonna be worried about how people are gonna receive your message. You're gonna be worried about how you put yourself out there. So it's all this thought process construction that I want to know about, because I want to pick your brain. If I'm going to hire you or recommend you or bring you into a project, I want to get to know how you're doing stuff.
Yeah, and I will just say, kind of on a counterpoint, while it's great to have passion and be a self-starter and show that you take on things outside of work, it's not a requirement. I feel like I know folks who go to work for 40 to 50 hours a week and they just crush it in that time that they're at work. But when they leave work, they go home and they go do something else, and it's not work related. They're, they go and hack while they're at work, while they're clocked in. But then after that, they go home and they play video games, or they go rock climbing, or they go do something else. And that's totally fine. So definitely don't feel like you have to put in, 80 hours a week hacking in order to stand out. It's not a requirement. You can still be amazing at your job by just working within the normal hourly bounds.
Yeah. And like, even on top of that, like, so I got my job going let's do stuff out of work hours, and like, really, I'm going to spend my nights and weekends working on this. And the reality of what that gets you is it makes it easier to get the employer's attention and like get that interview, but it doesn't necessarily make it like that's what the benefit is. And like, I think that beyond like your point of people having hobbies outside of whatever they do for a job, not only is that okay, but like, I think that's actually really important in most jobs, because if you're only ever doing red team is an example that I can use because I've been doing it for a while. Like, if that's all you're ever doing and that's all you're ever thinking about is like, how can I hack this computer this way, and you're not kind of studying other things, or you're not learning about other things and other perspectives, that really gives you a narrow view of kind of what you can do, for the company and for your job. Like, other experiences are good. You'll see for people in InfoSec talking about like jujitsu and like different martial arts, or like chess. There's a lot of these like other things that you can do, and like as you get good, I think that that's kind of an interesting like point, you'll see, I think you see a lot of people who, as they get more senior, will start to draw parallels between things that are not infosec or things that are not hacking and things and like how they relate to hacking. And like that's a very valuable skill to be able to do, because if you're going to go give a presentation to a boardroom, or you're, you know, meeting with the marketing folks or whatever, you can't just be like, oh yeah, well, there was like 18 CVEs, they're all CVSS 10, like nobody cares. Like you have to learn how to relate things to people, and like having other hobbies and other experiences besides just, you know, I'm going to say this, I have not left my computer maybe but twice this weekend, but you know, having hobbies away
But
from
you
your
built a
computer
watch.
is good. I did build a watch. That's true.
And when you work on other things, you exercise different parts of your brain, right? Like learning a foreign language works a different part of your brain. Rock climbing works a different part of your brain. And so you're kind of like, if you only work one set of muscles, you wear that set of muscles out and you let the other ones get weak that help support that one set of muscles. So like in rock climbing as an example, you got to climb up, but then you also got to climb down, because otherwise you just build the muscles that help you ascend. And if you don't build the opposing muscles, those ascending muscles actually end up getting weaker or get more prone to injury. So I think the way that manifests in like InfoSec is like you kind of get a fast track to burnout.
Yeah, and it's not only healthy to have like hobbies or, you know, a life or other interests outside hacking and security or whatever is your field, but it's also extremely it makes you relatable, and it shows like what is your, you know, your go-to skills, what are your hard, your soft skills, like you know, a little bit of who you are and what you like to do and how you do it. I'm gonna give an example for myself. I was very surprised because I never thought like what I did in my free time was important until I had this interview, and the interviewer was like, "Yeah, what'd you like to do?" And at the time, I was like playing online RPG, like table or RPG in forums, and I was like, "Shit, how am I gonna put this for this interviewer?" And I just explained what was, you know, a forum table RPG, and that I was developing, you know, fantasy worlds and developing fantasy skills and characters. And the interviewer just got blown away, and he was like, "Oh my God, you must be really good at like developing, you know, new projects and documentations and assigning people to their roles, because that's exactly what you're doing on this RPG thing." I'm like, "Oh my God, it is true." I am doing exactly that.
That was smart of the interviewer to draw that conclusion. I did not make that connection.
Exactly. And then I never thought of it like that, you know, as an analysis of what I'd like to do and what I should be doing.
I've got some books to share here just on this topic, because I also was really into RPGs when I first got into computers and stuff. So this is Leadership Lessons from Running a Guild.
Oh, this is really cool.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
The Guild Leader's Companion. I love it.
And there's another one.
The Guild Leader's Handbook.
Yeah, and so this is like
guidance from a battle-scarred, what was it, MMO?
Yeah, MMO veteran. And like, I think that that's wonderful, because it takes things that are not a drag. Like sometimes talking about this stuff at work is a drag, but if you can take it and you can apply it in a way that is more fun, like I personally, I get really tired of a lot of like the business speak, like when it gets over the top. But like if you can relate it to people, I mean, I think the MMO age is kind of died out a little bit versus where it was like 5-10 years ago, but like it gives you something a little bit more fun to work with, and like I've told people before, specifically with that, like it's okay if your hobby is like playing an MMO.
First blood.
Oh, nice. Did we actually get it?
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hello, got it.
We have our first blood. Sorry.
We were just on Hello's screen too.
So Hello got the first blood. He has the first flag with 50 points. So the easy flag is Hello is what Hello submitted. 50 points for the easy flag, first flag of tonight's match. And that's pretty much it. We have no one else in the scoreboard, so Hello's our first, which
How many
makes
flags
sense.
are there?
I don't actually know. I think there's 3 or 4. It's usually 4, right?
I don't. It's been 4 the past few weeks, but it's also been 3 a number of weeks as well. So I never know, what it's going to be week to week.
Yeah, let's say it's 3.
Let's go with 3.
Let's go with
10. No,
Oh my god! No!
All right, so 9 more flags to go. Come on, Hello.
No.
You got 2 hours and 15 minutes. 9 flags. Go.
Go.
Hello's like, oh my god! I thought it was enough pressure playing CTF live on Twitch. Now you got 9 more flags.
Oh man!
I just don't want to go to the scoreboard. That's all. I don't trust any of these Brazilians.
You shouldn't ever.
You get root on the first flag, or you get the root flag, and then you're like, oh well, apparently there's more flags. I guess I got to pivot, and like you're breaking out of the infrastructure. And
so yeah, I just got the confirmation in the Brazilian live that we have 3 flags tonight.
Okay,
awesome.
All right, so I'm still going with 10. So come on, Hello, 9 more flags.
Because
yeah, aim high. Don't limit yourself to 3. You're better than this.
Oh my god.
Anything is a CTF if you try hard enough and believe in yourself.
Yeah, anything is a CTF if it has an IP address.
Oh boy, this can go so wrong.
There should be a T-shirt or something.
I actually 2 years ago, I think I made a graphic of a stick figure kind of guy behind bars, and it says anything's a CTF if you believe.
Nice.
That's very accurate.
Yeah.
Was there like a UFO poster on the wall behind him that said "Believe"?
Oh, my visual skills were not up to par for that yet. That does sound like a better graphic though.
Yeah, we used to make the joke that like we were playing the real world CTF or like the IRL CTF, which is like the internet.
Yeah. I have a folder on one of my hard drives called IRL CTF.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's just cat pictures. There's nothing illegal in there. It's just lol cats.
I have so many cats. Back when cats were the meme of choice, like nowadays it's different, but.
Well, there's so many memes to choose from. I mean, how can you have a meme of choice?
That's true. What if you put cats in every meme?
I believe that truly there are cats in every meme, whether it's like steganography or like invisible pixel overlay. You just like have a layer that's a cat, but it's like just not visible. The alpha is set to 100 or 0, whichever. I don't know. I
had this idea yesterday. I guess I had the idea a couple of days ago. I was telling Marina earlier that I've been rewatching a series of unfortunate events on Netflix, and they have a puzzle spyglass. The spyglass is the decoder for secret messages, and so I was like talking to a buddy about like how can we make this a reality. But now I have a different idea. Like I'd really like to have a spyglass that I can like look at any meme and see a cat in it. Like it finds the cat and everything. Or like the AI that's trained exclusively on cats, and you just feed every meme through it.
Identified 3 cats, but it's like a meme of like Thanos. The AI is like, I identified 3 cats. The neural network is like 3 cats in this photo.
Oh man.
And it's like Thanos is like, I use neural networks to destroy the neural networks or something like that. Actually, Dade, I have a CTF question for you. I noticed in UHC and in other CTF write-ups that a lot of people use, when they're doing like web app enumeration with like FUF as an example or GoBuster, they use this word list of like Raft Medium. And do you know why that word list is so popular? Does it have like a large hit rate and a small size or something like that?
I honestly have no idea. Usually when I do CTF, like when I'm doing word lists and enumeration for a CTF. I was like, the bigger the better.
Yeah. I
think,
go with like Jay Haddock's content discovery one.
Yep. Yeah. And then like, it's easy to let it run in the background. So I'll usually start with something kind of small, like common, or like the stuff that's like a couple hundred maybe. And then if I find a couple of things, that's cool.
Hits.
But if I don't, then I just let something else run and I go work on it elsewhere. I'd actually never seen the RAF medium before, but I am seeing it a lot more commonly now, which no surprise. I guess I haven't really played a CTF in a while where I've needed it, but honestly, the amount of word lists, it's hard to go wrong. Like,
yeah, it's just like it's wild when you run like, one big word list and it comes up with like 0 results, right? And then you run a different like small word list and you get hits on it, and you're like, oh, like I should have just started with that. Which is, to your point, is like kind of go for those quick hits. And what I feel like maybe I should do is kind of go through my smaller word lists and kind of pull those into like one unified word list, which has just unique entries from like all the small ones or something like that, right? And then do that for like the medium ones, and then do that for like the big ones, and then just kind of like work my way through it for faster hits. Maybe that's a good strategy.
Yeah, I mean, actually, like I just Googled the Raft. I Googled like Raft medium word list, and like there's a ton of blogs that recommend it. I just really want to know where it came from, because like that's something that like a lot of word lists, it's really hard to figure out like why is this the way it is, because the list gets stored, but nobody like stores meta information about the list.
Which is like the complete opposite of like password lists, right?
Yep.
Like we know where like rocku.txt came from. We know where like the LinkedIn.dump, text came from, or whatever. Like we know like they're specifically tied to an event or a dump or an incident. And whereas like some of these like enumeration word lists, we're like, I don't know.
Yeah. And like, honestly, I think there's a lot of good opportunity. If you're an enterprising hacker, like, just run big word lists against, like, I'm gonna say sites that have bug bounties just to be on the safe side. But like, if but like the reality is, if you wanted to like look for the best word lists to use, or you wanted to start building word lists based on like what's most common, like take Alexa's top 1 million and run your word list on all of them, and it's gonna take a while, but like you're gonna get statistics that actually say like this is, well, these are the most common in, a population of them, the million most popular sites on the internet. And I think there actually is some word lists that are like, oh, these are our top 1,000, probably based on some numbers that aren't really published now, or if they were, then they're like long lost to the sands of time, like a blog that was on Linode like 15 years ago, like, well, what happened,
And Freedom with a cool observation in the chat, kind of what you were mentioning earlier, Dave, of like having one run in the background, like a bigger job run in the background while you run the smaller ones up front and take a look at the results right away for quick hits. I always personally kind of worry about, am I going to run into issues with like overloading the service where I get like false results, right? Maybe like maybe the remote service doesn't handle this like deluge of requests, and maybe it gives me like a 404 on something that actually exists, or like a 500 on something that exists. I guess 500 would be more accurate, but get like, if there's like a admin 55.php and I get a 500 on that, when like really it would have been a 200 if I was just running these in serial.
Yeah, that's definitely, something I'm concerned about, especially in like CTF architectures. Like some CTFs do a really good job at it of like scaling up to kind of meet the demand, but some CTFs don't. And if your chances, like if you have a high chance of crashing it, then you're just causing more problems by running too many requests at a second. Like that's kind of the same thing with port scans, right? You see, I see a lot of research like, oh, we're going to do these super fast port scans because like Nmap is too slow, whatever. But like the reality is, you can make Nmap do all 65,000 ports in 15 seconds. You can do that, but like the faster you go with anything, the higher likelihood of false positives or false negatives. And like, I care more about the accuracy of the data. Like, I will let them run and I will go investigate it by hand while they run. It's like, I do think that there's a point to be made about like, you should always have some tool running on a CTF. Like, you should always be doing some enumeration, at least up until the point where like, if you are working on the flag, you know that the flag is right there. Like, maybe you don't need automatic stuff running there, but like it's an efficient use of time to keep your fuzzers running in the background.
Yeah, let the computer keep working for you and do that in parallel. And there was something that, oh yeah, you brought up like Nmap as the example, right? With getting false positives or inaccurate results from that. And my approach has been to do like mass scan, at least for TCP ports. So I do like mass scan across everything just for a quick hit, and then whatever comes back is open from that. Then I'll run like service scans on with Nmap. Like, I usually start with like -- script safe, just to run like the safe scripts. And a lot of times I get enough info just from that where I can at least start poking and looking around further. But then, if not, I can dig further into detail. But sometimes that doesn't work either, right? There's like some kind of firewall or something, and you have to do like something else with like a window scan or a fin scan or something like that with Nmap, and then that ends up giving you some better results.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I think for most hosts, like, I scan Nmap, like I run Nmap automatically, like internet wide, basically. I wrote an Nmap automation platform effectively, and it's pretty effective. Like, even just simple SYN scans, or sign scans, whatever you want to call it.
I always say SYN.
I prefer SYN because I feel like I'm, committing a sin when I do it. But yeah, like, it's effective. Mass scan, I think is really popular. You can do the same thing with Nmap. It's just more, more parameters you have to pass in.
It's like min rate and defeat resets and all that.
And I actually have like a bunch of shortcuts for Nmap stuff that I do now. Like, I've aliased Nmap by default to automatically set an output like OA into one common folder, and it automatically names them with the date, time, and IP address or host name, whatever I'm scanning. And like and then you can alias on top of that, and you can just keep kind of chaining them together so that like you have fast aliases for a lot of the stuff you want to do. But like, Rust scan is another popular one. I think Zmap. I guess it depends on what you're doing, right? Because like mass scan and Zmap and that sort of stuff, you're going to have a lot of benefit if you're scanning a wider range. But in a lot of CTFs, you're not, right? In a lot of CTFs, you're scanning like one thing at a time, and mass scan doesn't get you a whole lot more benefit versus Nmap there, because like, you're sure you could hit 65,000 ports, at 100,000 packets per second and be done in a second. But, I would be extremely worried about port exhaustion on the remote TCP stack. And like, if you've accidentally exhausted ports on a target that you're hitting before, it's not good. You don't want to do that. So,
I think you're right. Like mass scan, Zmap, like they work well at scale, but if you're just playing a CTF against one host, like whatever is going to work. Like your time savings are probably not as necessary, right? Like, who cares whether you save 1 second or 2 seconds?
And like, the reality is like the SYN scan isn't the part of Nmap that's slow. It's the service fingerprinting and the script engine and all that stuff that's happening. So if all you're getting out of running Nmap or mass scan or Rust scan or any of that stuff is like a faster SYN scan, you could just make a faster Nmap and let it do its thing. So that the other thing I think that I think about is like, if I run one of those tools and it's fast, but maybe not like instant, then I'm going to go off and focus on something else, and I might forget to come back and check on it. But if I set Nmap to do the SYN scan and then the fingerprints and all the scripts that I want it to run, I know I can let that run for a little while, and then like, I'm going to get more results if I forget about it for a longer period of time, which is something that I really care about because I tend to jump around a lot in CTF and forget about things.
Yeah, which is right into Freedom's point in the chat saying default to where you're most comfortable, not necessarily for performance, right? Because like, who cares if you saved a second somewhere, but then 5 minutes later you remembered, oh, I should go look at this thing. Then really you only lost 4 minutes and 59 seconds.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And I think like it also, port based discovery versus like host based discovery, like Nmap and service enumeration and stuff is all very like host oriented. Like it's very good at hitting a host and getting the most detail, but like mass-scan and ZMap, like the internet scanners, they're meant to scan like one port or a couple of ports across a wide range of IP addresses because of resource exhaustion. And like, you can go that fast, but it's going to cause problems if you're against a very small IP space. So like I've definitely done it in like hack the box. You get into the VPN and hack the box and I just want to scan everything. Or when I was doing my OSCP, I did it for sure. Like that was, I think I spent more time automating stuff in my OSCP than I spent actually hacking machines. But yeah, it's just do what you're comfortable with. I think, that kind of goes back to what we were saying last week with the directory searching and the fuzzing and stuff like that. Like some people are going to use GoBuster because that's what they know, and some people are going to use FUF. And we've seen a couple of people today using WFuzz, which I think is another common one.
Yeah, on the screen right now.
Yeah, just use what you're good at, and like that's going to be a more efficient use of your time than going off to learn this whole new tool just because somebody, with a cooler neck beard than you told you to. Like
and kind of backtracking even further, popping off the stack a couple more times. When we were talking about that you should always do write-ups, one of the values there is just getting in the habit of taking notes as you work, right? I can't tell you how many times I've been like on a red team op and I get into some system and I've gone down the rabbit hole and I'm like, oh shoot, like how did I get here? And then, I don't know how to report that. Like, I did get a shell on this database server, but I don't remember how I got there. Like, that's not helpful at all. So learning those habits of taking notes as you go is like, I think one of the most valuable skills you can have.
Yeah. That's true. And actually when I do my write-ups and stuff now, like I played a little bit of CTF last weekend or the weekend before, I don't remember, but like when I do play now, I take my notes in Markdown in my text editor. So usually I'm usually ready to publish within 20 minutes after a CTF is over because I want to go back and edit it. But like I take the notes good enough that I'm going to be able to come back and read it at any time and understand what I've done. Because if you don't do that and you're just like, I'm going to copy some terminal output here, and I'm going to copy some like random stuff I found on the website here, like you're going to come back to that in a week or something. You're like, what was I doing? It doesn't make any sense. I forgot what I was doing. And like, yeah, so I take my notes like I'm thinking, and it's incredibly valuable. Yeah, Luska got second blood.
Yeah, Luska got also 50 points.
Yes.
All right, so Hello and Luska on the scoreboard now, both with 50 points. So both got the first flag, the easy flag. So 1 out of 3. Tree.
1 out of about
1 out of 3.
Yeah.
Sorry. And that's it. We have 2 people on the scoreboard. We are, I think we are on mid game, right?
Just entered the second hour of the CTF of 3.
Yes, we are officially in mid game right now. We have 2 more hours. So yeah, this apparently is a hard one because there's only 2 people on the scoreboard in mid game. There's usually a few more.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're kind of just aiming for root, and then they're going to dump those flags later. We'll see. Apathy in the chat asking any tips for King of the Hill, and I always felt like King of the Hill CTFs, you kind of got to be a bit more well-rounded than just playing regular CTF. You got to be able to attack and defend. So you got to get in somewhere, and then you got to keep everyone else out, essentially. But there's also kind of a balance there, right? There's like some dirty tricks you can do to keep people out, but you should play nicely, I feel like, as a CTF player. Like, yeah, I want to win, but I want everybody to have a good time in CTF. So
definitely have
my number one tip. Yeah, my number one tip: be a courteous CTF player while playing King of the Hill.
Yeah, I definitely have some one-liners that that just like loop over the who output and just kill sessions as the like anytime somebody logs in, I kill a session. Yeah, definitely. And honestly, like that's kind of the trick with King of the Hill CTFs. Like I think they're super cool, specifically because you get to learn also kind of like attacking and defending, but they're hard to implement right, you know.
Absolutely, and that's why I would never build one, because I am not smart enough to do it.
Yeah, that actually it brought me.
I was just going to say another good tip for getting better at King of the Hill is to build them, right? Because you'll get like immediate feedback at the end of that King of the Hill CTF as to like, how did the players do their things, right? If you set up all of the like recording and telemetry correctly, you'll be able to see exactly who did what when, and that'll help you in building your next one as well as playing.
And talking about people building, you know, especially building CTF challenges, we just got a message from Carlos Krosak here in our chat, and he is the one building the UHC machines. So the qualifying runs and, you know, the final ones. So the challenges that we've been seeing on screen, it's all Carlos, also called as Cadu. And, you know, once in a while, he is in the Brazilian live as well, being narrator. So it must be fun as hell for you to see people break into the machines that you built yourself.
Or disappointing, right? If you're like, that's such an easy flag. Why does nobody have it yet? What did I do wrong?
I think that's most of the time, actually. I think it's probably mostly disappointing.
But yeah, Cadu or Carlos from Crosec, like as you see up at the top in the top right of your screen there, one of our sponsors. So what up, Cadu? Good to see you. We'll see you at the end.
Little fun fact here: if you're seeing this and you're, you know, and not a Brazilian Portuguese speaker, you probably don't understand what KKKKKKKKK is. It is not a bad thing. We are not talking about Ku Klux Klan a lot. It is actually the way Brazilians laugh, because the letter K in Brazilian Portuguese is ka. So if you do ka 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 ka, that sounds like a laughter. And well, now you got schooled in Portuguese.
Now you know.
Now you know.
The more you know.
You're all some percentage of Portuguese Brazilian now.
I don't think that applies, but yeah, sure.
No, you are. Yeah, it's okay. That's how it works.
Shout out to Fork Forward, our boy. Installed Nikto in a CTF. I appreciate installing the new package. Unfortunately, it's just left the window that it's been done installing for like 5 minutes, but yeah, it's shout out for that.
I think last week we saw B get on a host, like get a reverse shell or something, and then they installed rip grep, and then and then they were because they like got on and they were like RG, and then there was like no RG, and they were like, and they like installed RG on the remote host, which like to me that's like a cardinal sin in testing. Like the only thing I want to install on a remote host is my own implant, but you know, like in a CTF, everything's fair game, I feel like. So I thought that was like super fun watching B install rip grep last week.
Yeah, and I think, you know, there's also some benefit to be said about keeping some base 64 encoded static compiled binaries on pastebin out there so that you can go, you know, grab it with any host you want and you're off to the races, you know, like
yeah, or it's just like a set of text records in a DNS server or something, so that if you can't get out to pastebin you can at least
Oh.
do these text record lookups on on the DNS
I
and
can't
eventually pull your
imagine.
binary down.
Yeah, fetching a whole statically compiled binary from a DNS records is that's a lot.
Don't do that. Don't force a flag to happen that way, Kadu. That's awful. I would rage quit the CTF.
We actually for B-Sides Portland a couple of years ago, we had one challenge that was called Death by 1,000 Curls. And like in order to get the flag, you had to actually do like 1,000 curls. But it was an on-site CTF, and the venue had really, really bad Wi-Fi.
No.
So like it was because it was also like timing based. Like if you took too long between curls, you would not get it anymore. Yeah, which it was similar. I built a challenge where the intended solution was to curl sudo bash. If you curl sudo bashed the challenge I gave you, it would just print the flag for you.
Nice.
But if you didn't, then you had to figure out how the timing worked to determine whether or not I was like, because the server was able to tell if you were piping to bash or not, and if you weren't piping to bash, then it wouldn't give you the naughty code, which is super fun. But it was also very timing sensitive because I was using a timing mechanism to ensure that they were in fact piping it straight to bash. Short summary for people watching is like, if you pipe directly to bash, then bash executes line by line, and if you pipe in a sleep and then the curl is paused because curl actually fixed it inadvertently on accident. Like they didn't mean to, it just happened. But like wget was the same way, where if you were piping into something and that something wasn't ready for the next content, you were able to basically play games with like chunk encoding. And so if somebody was piping it to bash, you could send them something bad. But if they weren't piping it to bash, then it would, we wouldn't send them something bad, which was a really fun little, like, I don't know. I make evil CTF challenges like that. Like, yeah, do you trust me? It was literally called Trust Game. Like,
nice.
But yeah.
I used to do programming challenges in CTFs where you like had to write code to solve a challenge, and sometimes it would be easy things like I'd say like give me the like 30th number in the Fibonacci sequence, right? Mm-hmm. And so you'd have to write code that would generate the Fibonacci sequence and then send back that whatever, and then pick a random number, like give me the 30th number. But then what would happen is the server would make you do that like 50 times.
Yeah.
Right. So it wasn't just like go quick search on Google before the timeout happens, what's the 30th number in the Fibonacci sequence, and then put it in and get the flag. It's like, okay, cool. You managed to get the 30th offset in the Fibonacci sequence within 2 seconds. Now, like, what's the like 130th offset in the Fibonacci sequence, right? Yeah. So you have to write code to be able to do that. And so, yeah, that was the same thing, right? And sometimes like the people would write bad code and it would like cause havoc on the servers.
Yeah. I haven't personally been a part of building one of those specifically, but like one that we did was like the Matryoshka challenges where you're stacking file types together and stuff like that, and it's like deeply nested
containers and things inside of things.
Yeah, and you basically have to write code for that, otherwise you're going to be in for a bad time, because like if you're sitting there manually extracting things. And the last one we did, actually, we hid I want to say it was the password for the encrypted file at the bottom. We like hex encoded it, and it was the names of the files that were being extracted along the way, but they would all get extracted into the same directory, so they would like overwrite each other. So if you weren't programming it, then you wouldn't have been able to like identify which ones you had multiple of and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a fun little idea. Also, going back to the King of the Hill, and just an idea I had, like when Marina was explaining the UHC and like the combination of hacking and esports, it reminded me of PS Doom, which was the original game for sysadmins. It would list all your processes, and you'd be playing Doom, and every monster in Doom was one of your processes. And when you killed it, it would kill the process. Somebody took that to the next step, and they ported it to Docker. And now you can do, and now there's PS, or it's Kate's Doom or something like that. So it's Kubernetes Doom. And I thought it would be really fun to have a hosted game of like Doom, or like maybe not Doom like Quake or something, but like where you're up against your opponent, and every time you kill them, it kills another random process on their machine. Every time you die, one of your random processes die. Like that would just be a lot of fun to watch. I mean, I think a lot of people who are, playing are just gonna like randomly disconnect, but that's the fun of it. It literally is last person standing then, because like nobody else will be in the game anymore.
Yeah, right. You're just like you're shooting down containers or pods or like whatever.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that would be excellent. Freedom talking about the sad moment when you build a difficult CTF challenge, but somebody solves it in some easy way that you didn't intend. And I always love that. I think I mentioned last week I had built this really challenging Python challenge, and it literally came down to being like prompt the user to input the flag, and then do like a comparison. If the user input matched the flag string, then return that like, yeah, you got it. But it was like really obfuscated. There was like tons of underscores, and they all like ran in, like it was using lookups on like the class names and stuff to get all of the characters to then string together as code in a Lambda. And I saw people struggle through it. I saw people that were like Python experts. They could like write Python in their sleep, and it took them like hours to solve this. And I was like, yes. And then I saw somebody play the challenge, and they just did like ltrace, Python 3, and then like the challenge. And it showed like, if like it showed whatever the comparison was as like whatever the function call was going to be. And it had the flag string right there. And I was just like, it was like, stir compare or like whatever. And I was like, oh my God, that was like so easy. And I didn't even think of that. It was amazing. I thought I wasn't sad about it. I was like actually really impressed. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, that's the best part about CTF, like that thinking out of the box, just come at it completely differently than the challenge writers intend. And that's also, I think, why it's important. If you're going to do a CTF for like public consumption, or if you're building CTFs for like your work or something like that, you should definitely have people play test them. And like, I mean, they might do it the same way that you thought, but it gives you an idea. Like if the very first person that play tests your challenge does it completely differently than what you thought, then like, you might have to work on your challenge a little bit. Or if you're okay with that, but like, at least ahead of time that, you can just run strings and oops, there it is,
Yeah, you might need to adjust the point value, or if you have a challenge where nobody solves it, that might be something that you need to look into as well. I had a challenge that I made once, and I think I published the wrong code into the challenge, like into the live challenge. And I for all the challenges that I made, I wrote the challenge and I wrote a solution. And so that way I knew that the challenge was solvable. But I think I published like the wrong version of the code. And so like nobody solved it. And I was like, what? Like it's really easy. Like I mean, it's like a 200 level challenge, but I was like, this like not bad. Why did nobody solve it? And then I looked into it. I was like, oh, I published a non-working version of the code. But this is why you beta test and you have other people play before you go live.
Yep. Yeah, that was like with the B-Sides Portland stuff. Basically, we I want to say require, but this year was a little bit different. Typically, when we are doing challenges, like the author also has to write the solution script so that it can always be solved. I like to pick challenges that are a little bit more difficult to automate. The challenges that we did this year, I worked on like the Twitch challenges where it was all embedded secret messages in a Twitch stream.
Oh, nice.
And then it was also my other little set that I was playing with was Tor challenges. Everything was like, the whole concept was each challenge would give you another way to de-anonymize a hidden service. Like common ways that the hidden services are accidentally leak their IP address and stuff.
Nice.
There's a lot of like fun stuff, but I like really enjoy those challenges. That's like a little bit hard to automate. OSINT challenges, stuff like that. So yeah.
So let's see. I'm kind of like checking back in on the CTF here, and I've noticed that we're looking at a player. I think it's Big actually, who is running Kali, I think, in a VM, and then running Windows. And that's another aspect of UHC that I've come to appreciate is like I always have operated on Linux for the most part, right? Unless I have a challenge that's specific to Mac OS or specific to Windows, I pretty much do everything in Linux. But I see the players doing all kinds of stuff on all different platforms here, and it just reinforces this concept that I've held for a long time, which is like the tools don't make the hacker. The hacker makes the tools, right? So like you can accomplish things in pretty much any language or any platform or whatever. So if somebody tells you like, oh, you don't run Kali, you're not Leet, like that's obviously garbage. So I mean, Kali's great, and I use Kali and I love it, but you don't need it to be a hacker.
Yeah.
You can do awesome things without it. And Apathy, thanks. I appreciate that. We had a lot of fun making success. It was actually a track that we made years ago with Megaran, and then we were going to put it on our last album, Downtime, but it was like too upbeat. It didn't fit all of the like dark sounds on Downtime, so we ended up holding on to it. But hopefully, we'll put it on the next album. So it looks like there's some JWT in here. I see the players looking up JWT stuff and doing decoding, and JWTs are these like web tokens that often get used for like essentially authorization of the like what access a user might have. And so you can have like HMAC stuff with them where there's like hashing involved and like message signing and everything. Or you can just put like random data in there. It's literally just like a JSON string essentially. So I'm curious to see, like, I've seen a couple bugs with JWTs in the past. I know there was like some bug bounty hunter that got like $100,000 from Apple for like some JWT bug. I saw like that got published a while back. So there's definitely some stuff where JWTs don't always get handled appropriately. Dave, have you seen any CTF challenges or anything in real life like that?
Oh yeah. JWTs are my favorite because they're not supposed to be used for authentication, but they are.
Yep. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And like it's kind of like certain languages definitely experience it more, I think, because like certain languages, the libraries for dealing with JWT, the libraries have patched themselves so that they're not vulnerable to like just changing the algorithm to none, and there you go, you're done. Like that was like a super common JWT attack. But there's some other like JWT attacks. I don't remember if it was like the RSA or what, but like you could go use the OpenSSL client to the server and download the server's public key, and then use the public key to sign your JWT so that it would be acceptable from the server. And that was like another common JWT flaw.
Oh wow.
And so I've actually seen both of those in CTFs as well as like the none type in real life. Like it just still happens. And it's, I said JWTs aren't meant for authentication. Like the reason for that is that JWTs have an issued date, and like as long as the signature on the JWT checks out, it's a valid JWT. And so you can't revoke a JWT once it's been supplied. You technically can, because if you store a copy of the JWT, you can blacklist it, or if you store a copy of the session or whatever. But like the benefit of the JWT is supposed to be that it's stateless. And if you're keeping a session table on the back end already, you're not getting any of the benefit of the stateless. Like the only thing that you could really be getting benefit with the JWT is like attestation that you have a certain set of privileges. But that's, auth Z, not auth N.
Right.
But it's really fun to see. Like I laugh when I see it. I've written some applications that were JWT auth, and I've learned my lessons. But yeah, it's fun. I think JWT is interesting, and I like to see it in CTF challenges now, particularly because it's a lot more common in a lot of modern web apps. It's I mean, you still get sessions and stuff, but a lot of like APIs and web apps and stuff will use JWT, and so it's nice to see CTFs kind of adapting to also what the reality is. Even with
and that's
I was gonna say, even with like other bug classes, like SQL injection has evolved, and as a result, CTFs have mostly evolved with it. Like, you'll still find some SQL injections, but it's not as common as it used to be, and it's not as easy as it used to be. It's not just like, magic quote dash dash, and then you're off to the races. Like, it doesn't work quite like that anymore. And so CTFs have also kind of evolved to like flex those other more modern skills. And I appreciate that, going back to, is this going to be good for your career to participate in these things? So, stuff like that,
Yeah, definitely. And I like kind of going back to the point where we were talking about CTFs and real life application. And I know when I was early on playing CTFs, I was expecting challenges to be presented in a kind of like puzzle sort of way, right? Like where it's going to be like, this is kind of an academic exercise. But sometimes I would play CTFs that were made by people that were like actually hacking things. And it was like not a puzzle format anymore. It was like, this is like I'm targeting, Uber.com or something. And I kind of had to mentally switch gears to be like, okay, I'm like no longer just playing like a fun puzzle game. I'm like breaking into something. And I have to think like, what does the application look like in that kind of setting versus like, what does it look like for just a small proof of concept that's been made for like a silly hacking contest? And there's definitely a distinction in some cases.
Yeah. A puzzle versus like a actual app. Like those are basically like the two categories of CTF challenges that you're gonna get. Is like, it's realistic or it's esoteric. I appreciate both of them. Like I enjoy, I love the esoteric challenges, because even if I don't get it right, I'm just like, awesome. Like at the end of it, I read the write up and I'm like, wow, I didn't know that you could do that with the PDF file format or whatever, But yeah, what about CSurf? Do you ever come across those these days? I do. I think that SSRF is more interesting these days, and maybe even more common. But yeah, I mean, I think it still exists. I'm trying to think of
I don't
examples.
really look. I mean, it's not in my day to day that I look for these kinds of bugs. But I think CSurf still exists. I think if you're using one of the common frameworks and you're using it correctly, I know like .NET. I think they got rid of CSurf like when they came out, like at the ground level. But yeah, people do implement CSurf incorrectly or not at all in some cases. And I've definitely seen apps where I can just take one CSurf token and just like replay it and like in a post request and still get the post request to process. I wrote a bot once that it had to register an account, and there was a CSurf token in the registration, and then like authenticate to the account that it registered. And it like registered like massive accounts on this platform, right? And so it had to deal with CSurf, but it wasn't CSurf in a vulnerability, because if you didn't pass the right CSurf token back, it wouldn't process your request. You wouldn't get the account registered. But it was kind of the same thing. All I had to do was just make sure that I was able to grab the token and pass it back. So not really a CSurf vulnerability, but it didn't stop me from abusing the platform in that particular case.
Yeah. And actually, I think like one thing that I have seen CSurf, I was sitting on a CSurf bug in a common Ethereum wallet a couple of years ago, because like the reality was, if I could take that bug and put it into like a Google ad, and it would trigger on anybody who's running the software, basically, and it would have the ability to like empty out the wallet. And nice. Like that's I think CSurf in applications that you download and you install on your computer and they run like a web server, like that's really common. And I think that's where CSurf is particularly interesting these days. And then also like I think like the classic CSurf of like, oh, I visited your website and my modem rebooted. Like those ones are really fun too. But I definitely don't see that as much now. Between CSurf tokens, browsers now with the way that Cores is implemented and stuff, like doing cross origin requests is a lot harder. But that doesn't stop, especially I think companies that are shipping software that just run on your computer, that like I think that they have a different set of constraints versus like if you're just building a web service that's going to run on your server. And so I think that you end up with like, oh yeah, well, we're just going to allow everything in Cores because that's the easiest way to get it to work in all of our situations. And so I think that that's kind of the interesting place. I have a fun CSurf story. Unfortunately, I can't really share it because I don't think it's fixed yet with work, and it's just, but it was basically a CSurf that led to remote code execution, which was awesome. But yeah, like it still exists. It's just, you got to look for it in different places now, I think.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these bugs will never die, given that we've had frameworks and stuff out there that have essentially removed the bug class. But if you don't use the frameworks or you don't use them correctly, then you have the opportunity to reintroduce these bug classes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't do much web stuff these days.
That also brings up the other interesting point of like, we have frameworks that have correctly like fixed things and removed bug classes altogether, but then we also have web frameworks that have been around a really long time that have not removed any bug classes, and in fact are like introducing new bug classes on the regular, or not introducing new bug classes, but introducing new ways to exploit those classes on the regular. And like, it's hard because if you started building your app 10 years ago, no platforms, no frameworks were really good at that stuff. But now, like you're 10 years in, it's way more work to lift and shift to a new platform than it is to just keep using what you got and fix it as you go, unfortunately for the security of the platforms that are running. But
one of the things I wanted to go back to real quick, earlier on, we were talking about you should always have something running in the background playing CTF, right? Doing some enumeration or running some kind of scan or something. And we have this web application that has a login page, but I haven't seen any of the players running like a brute force against it. I've seen them like manually try a few, like, they do admin and I don't know what they put in for the password, but I don't see anybody running any like brute forcing tools like Intruder or Hydra or Medusa or there's a parallel, I forget what it's called. But yeah, I haven't seen anybody doing that.
Yeah, I think I've seen like one person and they actually wrote their own, I don't know where it is, but I was looking at somebody, they wrote their own. Go Nasty is brute forcing, I believe, the web form right now, with like a PHP or a Python script that he wrote himself.
Nice.
And I think that's interesting. I don't know, maybe there is a requirement that you have, it's not going to work with the out of the box brute forcing tools. Like if it is in fact like a JWT type situation or whatever. Although it doesn't look like, it looks like this is literally just like posting JSON data and trying to brute force the passwords. So I think the last time I was looking here, he was trying to brute force the username with the static password. I wonder if there is a username enumeration kind of flaw in the app, which when I was building my watch yesterday, I found a username enumeration vulnerability in the website that that the manual was on. So that was fun. A little live discovery on Twitch.
So you signed up with the username int80, and you're like, yeah, it's this guy doing the username enumeration on your site.
Yeah, I signed up with the username int80, and then I looked up int81 and int82.
int79.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, interesting. And so fascinating choice here that Gonesty has chosen to write their own brute forcer when other ones exist.
This sounds so bad, Gonesty. It's almost like gonorrhea. Stop saying that. Go nasty.
What if it is not go nasty and the player gets upset and they're like, you've been mispronouncing my name. Int80 was saying it right the whole time.
I will side with Maria Maria. I missed a letter there. Sorry.
Yeah, quit mispronouncing her name.
It's actually really funny that I missed that letter because I was about to bring up the fact that Go Nasty's Discord name capitalizes the N, and then the N was what I missed in Marina's name. So
and if you took out the N in the name, it would be like Goatsy almost.
It would be pretty close. That's true. Ghosty. Yeah, we're learning
very
a lot
useful
today.
So many permutations here, so many opportunities. But yeah, in this case, if I were brute forcing, and it looks like it's just a simple post form, I didn't really see anything. Like I didn't see a CSRF token. So I didn't see like anything that you couldn't just throw like a multi-threaded brute force at it. So like Fuff or Hydra or something like that. I feel like that's going to be a better approach for trying to fuzz out a username or a set of credentials on this particular web app. But in a short CTF, I don't know if that's the route to go. Like me as a CTF maker or CTF author, I would not set that as part of the challenge.
Yeah, I personally try to avoid brute force as a component of a challenge as much as I can. I think that there are like ways that you can do brute force well. One way that I've seen actually is like the CTF will give you a word list. And if you need to brute force, it's going to be in that word list. And like, I think that's good just because otherwise you're going to be running, brute force. I don't like, if I get a flag because I brute forced a password, like that's not satisfying to me. I didn't do anything. I ran Hydra and I forgot about it. And like, I'm in, I mean, I appreciate the, like, I'm in, like the hackerness of that, but I try to avoid it as much as I can.
Yeah, I get like if you have some kind of context clue, right? If you're like note from the system administrator, like in next week we're gonna start implementing like a deny list against common passwords, or like we're gonna start blocking every password in the Rocky list, or we're gonna run cool against the site to generate a word list, and we're gonna block all of the words from that. But that basically tells the player like, okay, you need to do a word list enumeration this way using this tool, and at least that kind of gives them some context, so they're not just like blindly trying things without any clue as to whether it's the right path or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's like a good way to do it. Change password. Admin's password was in RockU. Oops.
Yes. Exactly.
And frankly, it's also kind of realistic. You kind of see those things, from time to time, especially like we've seen a number of players kind of traversing open directories. And like, if you're looking through open directories, you got a pretty good chance you're going to find some notes in there somewhere that like, gives you a hint to the next way to go. My only thought is like, if in fact you do need a JWT for this post, which I can't think that you would, but like if you did, like that would be where like the normal tools might fall flat. But yeah, I wouldn't write my own if I'm just posting JSON data.
Yeah. The place where I see those kinds of notes of like, like a bad thing happened is in like change log, like commit log. So like if I get like a repo and I do git log, I'll see like a commit, and then I'll see another commit after it that's like removed credentials or something like that, right? And I'm like, okay, like check out this other commit and like delete those creds. I see
Yeah.
that all over the place.
What was the name of that one
Which, like,
website that just came out too that literally just does that? They literally just like look for credentials in recently committed things to GitHub.
nice.
I found it.
I've not seen that.
Oh,
Nice.
it's
What's
great.
it called?
I'm gonna share it. Yeah, it's called Shagit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't find the actual website, but I found the GitHub project. Same thing. Yeah, I thought it was SSH Git, but it's SHH Git because it's like, oh, you're swearing.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna get yelled at by Nightbot, but YOLO.
Yep. Right on cue.
Yeah. I like the way that it responded too for that particular link was a good one. Yeah, and actually like ripping Git repositories and like that sort of stuff is another personal favorite of mine for CTF challenges.
Yeah.
A lot of like actually what I my personal blog is set up from a Git repo. Like it's all checked into GitHub. I don't deploy it on GitHub pages because I wanted to do some stuff that like I wanted to also be able to run an onion version of it, and you can't do that on GitHub pages. So I just like I had to build like a deploy script that specifically copied the build out of the Git directory because otherwise I would have to be like accidentally exposing my Git directory. I mean, I don't have like credentials in there. It's a web, like it's there's no authentication in the website, nothing like that. There's no database, so it's probably wasn't going to leak much, but just to be on that safe side, try to avoid it.
Yeah. I always love the looting Git repos. There's like so many times where just awesome treasure comes up in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a number of tools for that, like GitRob and oh man, I'm like blanking, but I know I have like at least 2 or 3 installed where you can just run them against Git repos and come back with cred super fast.
Yeah, and then like the other tools too. Like that's it. Like Truffle Hog is another one that's popular.
Yes.
Yeah. But then like the other tool of like, oh, your Git repository is exposed in on your web server, but like it's not open index. You can't just click every link and download it. Like you have to know what they're called. And so like that way of like, oh, I can find head and I can find config and I can find refs, and like that lets me download the entire repository, like literally ripping the repo off of the website. I've been using like the same couple of Perl scripts for that for years. Like nice. I think like there's a Git repo called like Internet Wash or Watch or something, and they just have like it's like called rip Git or something like that, and I love it. One of the first CTF challenges I ever made entailed ripping the Git repo off of the web server to find the hidden password. I did another CTF challenge once that you had to go find the Git repo, and then I left the credentials in, and the password was the flag, but I left it for a real IP address that I actually had running, and I set up the IP address as like a honeypot so I could catch the login attempts and like all the stuff that was like all the what are they actually trying to log in this OSINT challenge, stuff like that. It was really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Apathy in the chat asking if knowing binary exploitation is important or required for higher level CTFs. I see binary exploitation in a number of CTFs, and I like it's in the mix as like among a bunch of other challenges. So I feel like it's not required, but I feel like if you've got a team, you could have folks that if they do want to focus on binary exploitation, you can encourage that and then let them loose on the binary exploitation challenges. It's something that I personally enjoyed. So my personal approach is to spend time on things that will give me enjoyment. When I ran like a CTF team here in Austin, and the way we broke out was we wrote down like, here's what I want to be awesome at. Like there were people that were like, I want to be awesome at reverse engineering. And I like at the time I was like, I want to be awesome at binary exploitation. People were like, I want to be awesome at web apps. And so we broke out kind of into like sub teams. And then when we play CTF, like me and the folks who were excited about binary exploitation, we do the binary exploitation challenges. But for all the other folks that didn't care about it, like that was fine. And we still would do well in CTFs, but it was because we had a team, we were all playing together.
Yeah. I think that's like, I mean, I don't know. It depends on what you mean by higher level CTFs, but like if you're talking about like DEF CON quals and like the types of CTFs that like draw a lot of participation, the reality of it is like as long as you're good at something, like you can find other people who are good at something. You don't even I rephrase that. As long as you are interested in something and you find people who are interested in other things, then like you build a team and you work together on these things. Like I am atrocious at binary exploitation. I understand all the concepts. I'm just very bad at the execution. And that was kind of a pun. But you know, I do enjoy web stuff. I enjoy, I'm a big fan of the miscellaneous category. Like the stuff that is just kind of unique enough that it doesn't fit in any other category. I love that stuff. And I try other things. Like I'll try crypto challenges or I'll try forensics challenges. I won't necessarily be good at them, but like you find a team and you play with them and you each kind of bring something unique to the table. And so like if you're on a team that has somebody like binary exploitation is one of the most common categories of challenge. I would actually say it's kind of two of the most common categories because like you get the binary exploitation. I guess you get reverse engineering as one of the challenges, yeah. and then you get like pwn challenges is the other one where you have to like exploit it remotely. But like those are going to be super common. But if you don't like doing it or you don't want to learn how to do it, then that's okay. Like you do web challenges, do forensics, do crypto, do miscellaneous. I think that's most of like the major categories covered.
It's like the core concept of having a team in anything, right? Is like some people are stronger at some things than others. And so you all play to each other's strengths and weaknesses and together you all perform well. So like do binary exploitation if it's something that you're excited about. If it's not, like, don't worry, somebody else on your team might pick it up. I wouldn't say that anything specifically is required. I think just like wanting to play CTF is what's required.
Yep, exactly. And the willingness to give up your weekends.
Yes, the willingness for like hours to disappear magically.
oops, it's 4 a.m. What happened? That sort of thing happens occasionally. So,
yes. I just played, there's a company called Secure Ideas, and every Friday they publish a mystery challenge on their Twitter account. And so I try to play those weekly, and they're pretty quick. I can usually solve them in like less than an hour. But this one took me a couple hours because it was just this like, they're like, what is this payload print? And it was just these bytes. And there was like nothing about like what it is. There's no context of like, you know, it's shellcode or it's like a compressed object or it's encrypted with something or whatever. So you literally just have some binary bytes and you have to figure out like first off what it is and then like what to do with it after that. And that was really cool. And it wasn't binary exploitation, but it definitely required some skills that I hadn't used in a while. One Chief Raka, you're the number one Chief Raka. This is really hacking. Anything can be hacking pretty much. So what you're watching is people play hacking challenges and they are trying to break into a system to get flags. And the flags are like basically proof that they were able to gain a particular level of access. And spending time searching things online and reading results and learning about stuff so you can figure out how to break it. That is definitely part of hacking.
Yeah, like 90% Google, 10% terminal.
Yeah, it is the non-glamorous side of hacking.
Yeah. The other day, I actually we had a few people in the chat like, "Oh, where are the the blinking terminals like the red and the black and green screens going on and off. And I was like, well, that's not how hacking happens. This is how hacking happens. It's a bunch of, people just Googling shit that they don't know and having no freaking idea what's gonna work and trying a bunch of stuff they just researched. And one of them actually happens and they're like, oh shit, that worked. And that's pretty much hacking.
Yep. That's hacking is basically getting progressively better at knowing what to Google.
Real hackers use masks in front of a computer. Okay, wait a minute.
Oh, do you have a mask? I don't have a mask in here. I didn't know we were supposed to come prepared.
There you go. Now I'm a real hacker.
I don't have one of those. I had to go to the other room to get my masks.
It's okay. I can also turn on my hacker typer here. Hackertyper.com is still the website.
Oh, there's another one too. There's another one that's like it's like specifically like a Hollywood hacking. I mean, maybe it's part of Hacker Typer now. I don't know.
But if you want to have a little bit fun, go to Hacker Type, and this is what you're gonna get. Wait a minute, let me stop sharing the screen and go for Hacker Typer. And there you go. Now you have real hacking happening. Just I am just hacking stuff right now.
Oh, I'm gonna send you this one real quick too. This is the other one that is really good.
Wait, there's like stuff here that I can. Oh my god, no shit. I can like turn on things, like different things. Oh, access granted, and like if I just hit my head in the in the keyboard, there's all kind of crazy stuff show up.
Yeah, there's like a second one that I sent in the chat that
oh yeah, this looks really good.
This one is really cool. Like I really like the way that this one came out. It's a little bit like slower, I think, than the Hacker Typer one, but it really gives you that like you can actually open all of those things like the Interpol database.
Oh, really?
And you can like it's neat.
That's real hacking, y'all. Bitcoin miner.
Yep. One Cheap Raga. How can I learn coding? I'm an amateur.
What the hell?
There's a lot of online coding classes and stuff you can take through like Udacity. I think even just like YouTube has a number of them. The best advice I have is like find a project that you want to work on and then like start looking up how to work on that project. Like for me, I started learning hacking started learning developing like 4 times before I finally really got into the hang of it of like I'm gonna actually work on this thing. And that's what got things to start sticking for me.
All right, enough.
Gotta get back to the CTF. Yeah, we're coming up actually on only an hour left and still no more flags have been submitted. So
yeah, we're slow tonight.
Must be challenging. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Udacity, Coursera, MIT OpenCourseWare also has a bunch of classes on learning how to code and stuff like that, along with literally anything else you can imagine. Like every class that is taught at MIT is basically also available online for free. But yeah, if you want to learn like hacking stuff, then you jump into CTFs, ctftime.org, like lists out a bunch of CTFs for you. Pico CTF, like a really good beginner CTF. There's a lot of opportunities there. And then you just practice a lot. You read a lot, you Google a lot, and you practice a lot.
Okay, I'm back. Did we decide on a definition for what constitutes real hacking?
Oh, you just lost everything. I had a mask on. I had like Hacker Typer on. It just You're too late, David.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm putting in. We have like a private chat. I'm putting in my guess, but so one Chief Raka, if you're still with us, can you tell us what your name is a reference to? I'm curious. That's all. And yes, search a lot and copy and paste from Stack Overflow. Best statement for any programming.
So two things. I feel like your guess has to be right, 80. Like I feel like it has to be. I'm convinced. But also there's two more flags. Go Nasty and Smoke Nerd just submitted.
Ooh.
Go Nasty and Smoke Nerd are now on the scoreboard, and we are about 5 minutes into almost into the late game. So, all right, okay. So now the race got a little bit more interesting.
Okay, so it turned out I was not right. I was like, I'm gonna take that I was like 5% right, because my guess was it was from it was a rap song from a hip hop group, but Ludacris is a single artist. So I was guessing it was from I'm underground hip hop aficionado. So my guess was it was from a group called Lords of the Underground, but it was still a rap song. So I'm taking like a 5% correct on that.
I think I like the name of the Ludacris song that it's from is Hip Hop Quotables. So I imagine if we look through here, there's probably going to be a lot of underground hip hop references and stuff.
Oh yeah, so maybe like on Rap Genius or something like that. The reference is like to Lords of the Underground then. So maybe I dereferenced the pointer far enough that that I got it.
Yeah,
nice. Dade's got the accurate hip hop knowledge.
Yeah, I was a fan of Luda.
Oh yeah,
that's from the ever popular Chicken and Beer album.
Yeah, what was Word of Mouth? Was that his first album? Or back for the first time or something like that? Back again for the first time, maybe? Is that his first album?
I don't actually remember the order that they came out.
One more flag for Bigos.
Nice.
All right, so I guess probably in the Brazilian live, someone gave like a big hint because we're getting a lot of points now. Aw, I'm a fan of Avril Lavigne myself, to be honest. I freaking fucking love her. Thank you for saying that.
He was a skater boy. I said, "See you later, boy." That's the only words I remember.
Yeah, I don't know many songs, but I always thought that the songs that I heard from Avril Lavigne were all like had a good sound to them.
Yeah, those were the days. I like the punk.
All right, so now we have 5 people, 5 challengers in our scoreboard. We are officially going into the late game. Yeah, Steph just confirmed right back into Brazilian live on Twitch. One of the commenters. I don't know how to say that shit in English, but the people who speak while people are doing stuff.
Yeah, it's I'll tell you how I remember. It's commentator.
Commentator, thank you.
It's a common potato. So
okay.
Commentator.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so
One of the commentator talks.
They talked about the easy flag, so that's why we got a bunch of people now on the scoreboard. So we have Hell0 first, because he submitted the flag in the early game. Luska as well, right next to him. And then Go Nasty, Smoke Nerd, and Bigos just scored the easy flag. So now we have 5 people on the scoreboard going into the late game. So this just got a little bit more interesting tonight. So I think it's kind of anyone's game because we haven't seen much development on the other flags so far. So yeah, this is getting interesting.
I think that these 3 players who just got on the scoreboard are at an advantage now, because the other 2, Hell0 and Luska, they've been kind of like tunnel visioning, looking at this problem, and haven't been able to make any ground on it. So I think they are probably less likely to explore new ideas, whereas these 3 new players who are on the scoreboard have like a fresh set of eyes, which means they might approach trying to solve the next flag in a different way that the other players haven't considered yet. So if I was a betting individual, if I was a betting mustache, I would bet on one of these 3 new players.
Okay, betting mustache.
Going back to Ludacris, I remember being a big fan when Ludacris first came out, and I learned that Ludacris at the time, I think he had sold like 50,000 copies of his album or something like that out of the trunk of his car.
Mm-hmm.
And he got like he was so popular that I think Def Jam, I almost said Def Con, Def Jam, they started their own like Def Jam South record label just to sign him on like his terms. And what I really appreciated about that setup was that Ludacris was so successful individually that he didn't need the record label, right? And
Yeah.
the like current analog to that in InfoSec is that you could be like a prolific bug bounty hunter and you don't have to go work anywhere. You could just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna like be on my own terms, making money. And then if a company did want to hire you, you've got a lot of reasons, as in dollar signs, as to like why they should pay you a bunch of money to like come work for them.
Ka-ching!
Yeah, that's true. I think, I thought it was actually interesting. Like Naffy, one of the most prolific bug bounty hunters, recently switched to a full-time job just because he was, basically tired of the bug bounty life. Like he would make all the money he needed to make for a year in the first couple of months, and then he would just have no reason to go back to working at it, and so he switched to, I think, like a pen testing or a red team job, literally just for like that normal 9 to 5 kind of experience. And also I think the other thing is like coworkers. In a bounty, you can collab with people and you'll like share the money, but you can't give away all your secrets. You can't really open up with the people because they're also your competition. Like your livelihood depends on those skills that you've developed. So it's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I get that. I enjoy working with folks and being able to like work towards common goals together, but like on a bigger scale.
Oh,
what's up?
So 2 more people in the scoreboard. Ricardo and Gabriel Vernilo also got the easy flag.
Ooh, nice.
All right. So we're going up to 7 people in the scoreboard. So I guess I'm sorry. What?
I'm just laughing at the chat. we were talking about like int 80, int 81 and everything, and now it's like alert 1, alert 2. We're doing alert enumeration in the chat. Cross-site scripting enumeration.
Okay, so now we have seven people in our scoreboard, all of them with the easy flag. And Hello and Luska are the ones that got the easy flag on the early game. We have now reached late game officially, so we are in our last hour of tonight's match. And I guess it's anyone's game. We have 7 people on the scoreboard, all with the easy flag. And Go Nasty, Smoke Nerd, Biggest, and Ricardo and Gabriel Vernilo all got the easy flag just now. And I just heard from the staff that one of the commentators in the Brazilian live gave everyone like a big fat hint. So
yeah, also our friend Forker Forward is also got the flag. We're up to 8 now, so eight out of
all right
10 contestants, right? 8 out of 10
Yeah.
got the first flag.
8 out of 10. Okay.
And how apropos of Fork Ford to be number 8, because there's 2 fours in their name, right? So 4 plus 4 is 8. Fork Ford represent. Also in the chat I saw earlier, Vetch giving a shout out to QB Queensbridge, home of many good hip hop artists. Illmatic is like one of my favorite albums, and I think anybody who has heard it would say it's a classic. Mobb Deep The Infamous, another one of my favorite underground hip hop albums, or I don't know, like I consider it underground hip hop, but definitely one of my favorite East Coast rap albums for sure. All out of Queens.
I think you're you know, with like Mobb Deep and all that, like I would consider it underground, even if they did get quite a bit of kind of commercial success.
Oh, Felipe also
definitely the
got
vibe, you know. Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. We had 9 players on
10.
there.
Nice.
9 out of 10. Wow, that was a very,
Yes.
very useful hint, I guess.
Yeah. What are these hints that people are giving?
Damn.
Nice. Yeah. So let's see. Oh, in the chat, Freedom talking about YouTube, about Twitch extension with cross-site scripting. So is this like Freedom? Are you saying there's like a video about like a browser extension or a Twitch? I don't know anything about Twitch extensions actually. I know cross-site scripting, but I don't know what I don't know about Twitch extensions.
Oh,
I need more details.
I'm watching Hell0 and he installed JWT hack, and then it's just like a go get. You go get the binary. Didn't know where went to. So now he's updating the database to try to find the file. Like update DBs to try to find the file.
Nice. Yeah, let's see here. So yeah, update DB. Alternative to that is you can do find as well. Find is my go-to. Like I'll do like find / and then like dash name and dash type F. Yeah, I remember.
Especially if I don't know what I'm looking for, like because like locate is good if it's already in your path. It's like it's in a common binary installation, that sort of thing. But not so good for like Go binaries, which usually are in like your Go dir, which is usually like home.go or home go, and then bin, and then probably JWT hack is in there.
Yeah. There you go. All right, go into bin, and let's see what it is. Yeah. All right.
I really want to smack the enter button, but I can't. so close.
I know. Go hit enter. Oh my gosh, this reminds me of like a hacking training that I taught once, and it was like very basic, just like how to do Metasploit, right? And the whole time we were emphasizing you can tab complete like everything in Metasploit. So we'd be like, okay, type, like use, space, and then like AUX, and then hit tab. And when we had a CTF at the end, and there was somebody that was like so close, and I was like, hit tab. Like I just told them like hit tab, it will like complete the module for you, and they like wouldn't do it. And I was like, just hit tab. And they like, and this was after like 4 hours of being told to hit tab to complete the Metasploit stuff. It was like pulling my hair out.
Yeah. Tab completion is another sign of a hacker. I think Google a lot, Stack Overflow a lot, hit tab a lot. Like that's
yes.
Oh, you entered a command 5 lines ago. Up. It's.
Yeah. Let's see the Drake meme of like looking for the command that you used previously, like, and then like holding up until you get to it, like.
Yeah. Control R.
Yeah. Control R.
Up. Yeah. Well, now I don't think that was the Drake meme. I think that was the American Psycho meme.
Oh, nice.
Like I don't remember what the bottom of the Drake meme is. Oh well.
Yeah, the bottom of the Drake meme is like this.
Oh, okay. Pointing that way. Thing. Different point, like this point versus this point.
Yeah, I saw this screenshot of a desktop today, and it was like all these memes pointing into the center of the wallpaper, and then in the middle was the Chrome shortcut, and it was like, I'm tired of my dad asking me where Chrome is on the desktop.
That's pretty awesome.
It was like the guy from like OC Choppers or whatever, where he's like,
oh yeah,
just all these different memes, all pointing, all like right into the center of the screen, and then like there's the Chrome icon.
That's awesome. Yeah.
All right, so I've never seen JWT hack, and one of the things I tend to mention week after week is that I learn about some new tool watching all these kids play CTF. like this week I've spent some time doing like auto recon, and like I'd never used auto recon before, and like it was cool. It didn't do all the things that I wanted, but it was cool. And so I appreciate that, you know, like JWT hack is like apparently this week's new tool that I get to mess around with.
Yeah, I had never seen it either, and it looks really awesome because just from what I've seen with Hello, and I'm gonna be a little bit careful because I don't want to give up too much, but like something that the JWT hack apparently can do is like try to brute force the secret of a JWT, and that's something like usually when you talk about JWT attacks, like that is something, but like it's not something I've seen a lot of. Like usually it's like flaws in the implementation, but this is actually flaws in like the server side configuration. Like they configured it with a weak secret, and so if you can get the secret, if you can guess the secret, you can forge signatures. So it, you know, looks like there's some interesting possibilities coming out of here.
Yeah.
Apparently, apparently the staff released a hint on UHC website, maybe for the medium flag.
Can you translate it for us, Marina? For us,
as soon as it comes back in screen. I don't know where that is.
It's in the general chat in Discord. Somebody shared it there.
Okay.
Let's see.
Really? Where is it though?
Oh, interesting. John Cusack saying in the offensive security, I think that's web exploitation, WE course, there was a challenge where the secret was based on server time. Nice. And that actually, there was the secure ideas, like mini challenges that I was mentioning that are weekly. I think their challenge last week was, how could you like win this game being remote? And the issue was that it disclosed that the random seed was the server time, and it disclosed the time.
Oh boy, Hello just went up to 200 points.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That medium flag.
Yeah, medium flag right there.
Yeah.
Zarthanix asking in the chat, are these solo events?
Yeah,
I'm guessing the extra people.
Yes,
yeah, go for
it. So no, these are not solo events. These are a chain of events. Yes, they are, separated from each other. It doesn't, if you win 1 week, it doesn't affect you on the other week. You go back to, the not having any points week after week. So each week we have one exclusive separated CTF, but it's all like the same organization, the same staff, the same organizer, the same company still doing the UHC CTF. So
yeah, I was just gonna say, I think the other thing, like I'm guessing the extra people in those calls are commentators.
They are.
So every channel is just one contestant. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is just people who are looking at that contestant's screen.
Yes.
It is meant to be a single, like, all of the contestants are playing the same challenges, but they're all playing individually from one another. They don't have like a team helping them.
Yes. So the one streaming in all the rooms, they are all separated rooms. They cannot enter each other's rooms. The streaming ones are the players. They have to stream the screens all of the time. And the rest of us, we're commentators or staff, just going through the rooms, making sure they're okay, making sure, that we are streaming their screens and all of that. So
looking at how they're hacking.
Exactly.
And then talking trash about how we're better hackers. Just kidding.
Oh yeah, sure.
I mean, there have been weeks where we'll see a player like do something and we're like, oh, they got it. Like that, like there's the flag right there. And then they like don't grab the flag, like they miss it. Or it's like, oh, like all they need to do is just like do this one thing, and then they don't do it. And we're like, oh, like why? Like just go do the thing. But it's easy for us as, like the armchair commentators not caught up in the middle of the actual competition to have the calm and like, I don't know, stable look at things of like, oh yeah, obviously it's right here.
Yep. Yeah. I save my trash talking about being a better hacker for the rap songs exclusively. I try not to let that bleed out into the rest of my personality. It's just,
it's a good outlet, right? Like you're
Yeah.
meant to talk trash in rap songs, so you get to kind of like have that release there. And so for folks who are watching who don't know, 0xDade is a rapper. Go check him out on all the platforms. You're on like Spotify and everything,
Spotify,
right?
YouTube, everywhere. I actually release some like kind of less specific stuff to SoundCloud more often than anything else. I'll do like I'll like rip beats off of YouTube that I really like, and I'll just write like a verse to them real quick or something. But all of the original music, ready to produce and publish is on Spotify and YouTube and Pandora maybe. I don't know. I assume probably. I don't think you can look for specific songs on Pandora, but actually I actually do have a song that I was working on. I really wanted to make maybe one of my favorite bars of all time. It said, "Snakes all around me, just give me a sign. I'll take all the best hackers and I'll put them in line and go one by one, check them all end time." I wrote a bar so that I could use Big O notation in it.
Nice.
That was my goal. So
I appreciate that.
Hello is asking for us to stop sharing his screen. Otherwise, we're gonna catch the flag. I don't know.
He's only got one flag left.
Exactly.
Put the flag in and win. Stay on his screen.
That's not how this game works, sweetie. If you want to win that flag, you're gonna have to share that. Oh, come on, Discord. No. Come on, Discord. Don't do this to me, Discord. Come on. No. This is not okay.
Hello is like, I asked nicely.
God damn it.
Vetch saying hackathons don't mean a place where hackers hack stuff. Not always true. I would say it doesn't necessarily mean that, but I've seen some cool stuff happen in hackathons before.
Yeah, I want to take a chance here. I want to use that as a chance to profess that hacking does not mean breaking into stuff. Hackathons have a lot of people building really cool stuff in short time frames with weird constraints, and like that is absolutely hacking. Like hacking is not reserved for breaking into things. It's I know that a lot of, especially if you're not in hacking, then you'll more commonly have seen hacking in TV or in the news or whatever, and that's what it means. But to hackers, that's not what it means.
Yeah, and everybody has their own definitions, right? So you might talk to somebody and they say, well, no, hacking is only when you break a system that's not meant to be done in that way. But it's a wide definition. It's a word, and people put different meanings and different perceptions on words. So it can literally, yes, be gay, do crimes, A+++, would recommend.
That's what a hackathon is.
That's what hacking is. And of course, it's only if you meet the requirements of the 197 IQ and 15% or more of the password.
That's true. Yes. Which has come a long way, because 4 years ago you had to be 400 pounds in your mom's basement to be a hacker. So we're making progress here.
Yeah. Maybe some of those LBs got converted to IQs, and who knows? The metric system doesn't make any sense to me.
I think if you have an 8-character password, you only need like one letter to be like at or above 15% ish, maybe 2 letters.
Yeah, you need one letter and then part of the other one. So if it has like an accent on one of them, like as long as you've got the accent, then you're good.
Or 50%. I mean, maybe we can take it like a little bit differently. Like you have one letter. Let's go with like S or T, because those are like the most common letters. And then you have part of the other one. Like you either have a line or a squiggly, but you don't know what it means.
How many pixels? Are you at 15% of the pixels displayed? If you like zoom in, do you get more of the pixels? I don't know.
Yeah, 15% if you include like the aliasing pixels on the corners.
Yes,
I can guess it from there.
I over applied a compression algorithm just so I could get more percentage of the password.
Oh, my friend here, John Cutesack, which I appreciate his name. He got me to say it yesterday. I know who it is, and at first I was like, oh, I don't like. I was like, whatever, and then he said it. I was like, oh, you did that on purpose, didn't you? Wheel of Fortune's been training hackers for years. That's true.
Yeah, check doing that frequency analysis. What's up? Yep. RSTLNE.
Yep.
Also, rest in peace, Alex Trebek. We didn't beef with you for real.
Yeah, that's rip Alex. A shame.
But
has somebody replaced
Pat Sajak still an angry Canadian? Or wait, was Alex Trebek the Canadian? I can't remember now.
I don't remember.
Just Pat Sajak always seems
Oh, and we have one more person with 200 points in the scoreboard.
You're right.
Fork
forward.
Arcade, four chord, Arcad, whatever the fuck your name is.
Well, I like four chord too. That's a good one. Four chord is cool.
Lord four chord.
Lord four chord. Lord four chord on four quads.
By the way, all the folks that are watching, whenever the CTF ends, either in 40 minutes from now at latest, or if somebody else solves the final challenge, when the CTF ends, we raid into the Brazilian live, and we have a discussion with the winner, both in English and in Portuguese, and we get all of the details about the CTF. So if you've been with us and you're like, oh my God, like what is the solution to this? You know, because we don't always catch it, and we don't know about any of the challenges. All the questions get answered. So definitely stay with us at least, through the next 40 minutes plus. And then we're going to get down to the bottom of how this CTF played out, how to hack all the things essentially.
All right.
That's
so
it.
now we have
So
now you have 9 out of 10 being Hell0 still in first place. And now Arcade work for whatever
Fork forward.
In second place with 200 points, and everyone else still with the easy flag with 50 points. So the 200 points means they got easy and medium flags.
Has Luska won? Have we had Luska on to like debrief us previously?
What do you mean?
I feel like they haven't. Just in the past, has Luska won UHC like in the recent weeks? I feel like they haven't.
I feel like they haven't as well. I don't remember, at least.
So that's one of the interesting things, right? Is like these players are Brazilian, so we might go into this like debrief with them, and then they can only explain how they won in Portuguese. But fortunately, we have some other folks here who speak both Portuguese and English, and they can do the translation. So don't worry. Got to mention about bug bounties. This place does not want to pay a dime for full access for the specific repository. Is this like you found a bug, but they won't pay you for it? Because I've definitely been down that road. I found like bugs for a big government thing, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll fix those, but we're not going to pay you for them," even though it was like a bug bounty program. Like, okay, cool story. I don't know, Vex, can you like give us some more details? Found full access on the doorstep. Yeah. Okay. And then they're just like not going to pay you, but it is a bug bounty, or is it not a bug bounty and you just like reached out? Because vuln disclosure is like its whole amazing can of worms. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I won't get into it here, but if you ever want to like watch an amazing storm on Twitter, you should just post some opinion about vuln disclosure and then just like let everybody go wild. It's amazing.
Yeah, and you can post literally any opinion about it. Like just
Yeah.
post a strong opinion, whether you agree with it or not, and then just let it go. Like you'll see a lot of fun.
And the site is free. It's amazing. It's like It's free real estate or free entertainment.
Yeah.
Hashtag bug bounty.
Include hashtag hacker tips. That's
John Cusack saying they had an HVAC system. They could change the value in post and set the room temperature to the same as the sun, but that wasn't a bug, so we're good. Yeah, like who cares? Just spin up a bunch of centrifuges and break them all. Like it's fine.
Yeah. I think my personal favorite research around like building connected systems, like HVAC is an obvious one. I actually have a separate story about that, but like I really like door controllers too. Like you just send a message to the door controller, like, "Oops, I'm in." Like from the IP side, no less. Like on the network, you can just, "Oops, I'm in" to some of the door controllers. It's amazing.
I had a friend of mine who sent me like a write-up, and he was like, "Oh yeah, check this out. This is going to be like in the news coming up." And I start reading it, and it's about how he and his wife were able to control the PLCs in a prison and like open doors and stuff. And I was like, well, like big deal. I mean, what's it like? Where's your access point? In a prison, like it's not connected to the internet. So you got to like get into the prison and then find some way onto the network. And then I read a little bit further, and it's like, oh yeah, and then like the command center is connected to the internet. And I was like, oh no.
That's oops.
Yeah, ruh-roh.
Why?
And then the part that was not like published in the article, but I learned separately, is that the guards do all kinds of like, or the guards in that particular prison were allegedly doing all kinds of nefarious things, like watching adult content and pirating things onto those systems that control the control center
on the PLC controllers.
Not on the PLC controllers. Like, ooh, check out that red LED. Ooh, yeah, that's dope. Ooh, yeah, I got a patch to make it yellow now. That's dope. I cracked it. No, like on the prison command center computers, they were like doing bad things on the internet on those computers, but those have control over the PLCs in the prison. So like literally, you could be like, oh yeah, here's like whatever you could come up with to entice one of the prison guards to install or load or whatever on one of those computers. Then you could like at some point in time be like, okay, and open all the doors and do whatever else you can access, like turn off all the cameras, like whatever, turn on all the sprinkler systems, like whatever's connected into the command center, which is probably everything you could probably do.
Yeah. So I was showing here on screen the scoreboard, and now we have a third person with 200 points, which is Felipe, the newcomer. So 2 veterans and a newcomer, all with 200 points. Hell0 is still in first place, but we are entering the final 30 minutes of the championship, and the race is now very, very close. Oh boy.
Also, 80, you were definitely right. Like 2 people who have just very recently gotten the first flag, then went on to quickly get the second flag. Like their slope is much higher.
Oh
no.
Wait, is it a copy paste error? What happened? This is like maybe another flag, an older flag. Oh man, I thought for sure we were about to get the root flag, and that was going to be it.
Yeah, we almost got Felipe submitting the root flag. Almost.
Oh,
that
so
was close.
And yes, the punchline of all of the prison hacking is that Epstein didn't kill himself. Oh man. All right. So, look, cool. It looks like there is a SQL injection with the JWT potentially. That's always cool. I always like seeing how vulnerabilities kind of get chained in that kind of fashion. That would be super rad if that ended up being the case. Here, doing a sleep 5, I mean, that can like prove the existence of the SQLi, but then you still have to like dump out the contents, which assumably would be the flag, I expect. Also, I don't understand the bot here complaining about somebody submitting a flag format text into the chat. The bot is like super sensitive.
It's like shaming people in chat. Bad
How
bot.
dare you post in our chat?
Also, that said, it is poor form to post flags in chat. Whether it's accurate or not, it's still kind of poor form.
I would do it. I encourage you. I'm just going to play devil's advocate.
This is CTF etiquette right here.
Yeah.
Oh, the thought of like sharing out intentionally wrong flags.
Right. Yeah. It's a disinformation campaign, right?
Yeah. So at ShmooCon the year before last, whatever year ShmooCon had the rocket ship badges, I don't remember which. Like, I think that was like 2 ShmooCons ago. They like one of my coworkers went to the wireless CTF and he reprogrammed his ShmooCon badge to spew out fake flags. And so like everywhere he went, he was just spewing out fake wireless flags. And so what happened, like he talked to like the CTF organizers and got points every time somebody submitted one of his fake flags.
There's a special place in hell, man.
Yeah, I thought that was great, especially because he was using the ShmooCon badge. Like it's not like he was brought his own wireless equipment. Like the ShmooCon badge has a wireless chip in it. It was like an ESP8266 or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he reprogrammed the actual badge to do disinformation on the wireless CTF. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Oh man. Yeah. All right. Good. We got a fellow CTF player with us here.
Let's take a look at Hell0.
Oh yeah, and for folks who are seeing this thing about Kaduflix, Kadu is like the person who makes the challenges here on UHC, and he has kind of like a Netflix sort of setup where there's just like online classes about hacking.
They're all free, by the way. So it's better than Netflix.
Yeah, Kaduflix and chill.
Oh, let's go.
All right, so I don't know. We see like Hell0 working on what looks like to be a SQL injection in the user ID, which I could get. It's a numeric value, right? But I'm just trying to think of like what that query might look like on the back end, where you're like injecting into it.
I mean, I guess with the user ID, like you would usually have a select user from, from table.
Yeah, select star from user where
ID equals 1,
whatever the ID is, right? So like I would be doing something where it's like user ID is like 1 or 1 equals 1, right? And then like get like all of the results back.
Yeah.
But I guess a union select would be able to like get more results out of other. You can then say like information schema or whatever. You can get more details about the database. Yeah, I haven't done a manual SQLi in ages.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is like if you do the like or 1 equals 1, like it depends on the type of SQL injection. Like that may not actually be any use to you if it's not actually printing the results to the page, right? Like if it's not printing the output, then getting all of the output isn't really helping you. You have to get a blind SQL injection. So like
by doing that, if your flag is in another table, then you won't get a read on it.
Yeah, that's true too. Although I guess like you'd still have the benefit, like if you know that you're user 2 and you can assume that you have to be user 1, then I think it's a fair kind of logical next step to want to go from like get into the admin, because then presumably if you can forge that credential, then you just have access to wherever the flag is anyways.
Yeah. Marina, can we take a look at Forkford and see what they're doing? Are they working on SQL injection as well, or what are they up to?
Let's see.
I'm curious. So it looks like also putting in some SQL clauses. I would say that Hell0 looked further ahead in composing their SQL query, but we'll see. Also, cookie editor, blast from the past. I have not seen cookie editor in like ages.
I'm one of those people who just like mostly uses dev tools for everything now, and I didn't use cookie editor. I used a different editor back then. I can't remember what it was. Back in the age of like Firebug, when Firefox didn't have its own dev tools.
Yeah.
Chrome hadn't really come out yet, that sort of thing. It looks like Felipe is also kind of on the right path, trying the same things.
Nice. Yeah, Vetch in the chat saying using the same 20-year-old tools to do ARP spoofing, but in that case, ARP hasn't changed. ARP is the same as 20 years.
Yep.
So like you don't really need new tools. I actually was just reading I think it was Kubernetes breakout on GitLab, and they were like using like dsnif and TCP kill, and I was like, oh my god, I haven't used those tools in like ages.
Yep. Yeah. That's kind of funny. Like I think it works like that all the time. You know, what's old is new again. Both in terms of like the types of research being done, but also like you see these like 90s era vulnerabilities that are popping up in home routers and IoT devices, and like, you know, we are just kind of in a cycle. Like we got really good at securing x86 desktops and servers and stuff like that, but now we're in like the world of ARM and these OSs that aren't very good.
So on the screen here, we've got a local file read through the SQL injection through the JWT, and we're able to read etc password. What does that say at the bottom? Ainda estamos finalizando alguns detalles. Like we're finalizing some details, or we're going to finalize some details, or we're going to be finalizing some details.
Yes, that is correct.
Nice. All right. So now, if you could guess what the flag file is, you could probably read it, but you would have to figure out what the flag file is. So I don't know that there's a good mechanism. They're just guessing here that it's /root/flag.txt, which if it is, that's amazing. I know like in Hack the Box, you know, they have like root.txt and user.txt and everything. But yeah, see, we have to find a way to enumerate the file names, I feel like here. PSK Hyper, welcome. Yes, Ultimate Hacking Champion Chip. We're all about the chips here. Yeah, Vex, we don't know what the flag names are, but I agree. I think it's cool, like to have a consistent file name, you know, so that you don't have to guess. But maybe the intent is that you have to get a shell through the SQLi, and then once you've got your shell, then you can like find the flag somewhere. I've definitely seen like flag file names just be like a MD5 sum or SHA-1 sum or something like that. In which case, like you're not going to guess it. but you know, it's based on the intent of the CTF author, and so if the intent is that you should be able to get a shell through this SQL injection, then there you go. But yeah, okay. So if we're talking ultimate hacking champion chips, what are we going with here? I'm probably Doritos. I think I would go with maybe, or maybe I'd go with like maybe ARM. ARM is like a pretty strong champion chip, I feel like.
ARM is making waves these days.
I feel like I have to. I feel like I have to go for Doritos just because I'm wearing a DVA, bodysuit. For those who didn't understood, DVA is a Overwatch character, and she is known for eating a bunch of Doritos and drinking a lot of Mountain Dew, which I am a huge fan of. So, go gamer girl. You go, gamer girl.
Dade, what's your champion chip?
Oh, that's tough. I'm gonna go with the Pentium 6.
Pentium 6, was that like where like 686 started?
Somewhere in there, yeah. Oh, we just got another Smoke Nerd. Just got the second flag as well.
Sick.
Yeah. My what I like about that, the P6, Pentium 6 architecture, it was referenced in Hackers, which I appreciated. It was incorrectly referenced in Hackers because at the time,
RISC is going to change everything.
Yes, that's it. Actually, did though. It's kind of funny because it really did. Like ARM came out, and now it literally did. But yeah, at the time, the power books that they were using, they didn't have Intel CPUs in them. So like talking about like the P6 chip is going to change, the P6 and all that. It's like, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't work that way. But it's also roughly about the time that the Intel x86 processor line introduced the Spectre and Meltdown speculative execution stuff. I actually, if I went over to the other side of my desk, I have the original developer's manual for Pentium 6 lineup. So that's what I'm going to pick. Things that can introduce vulnerabilities that stick around for 20, 30 years, like that's awesome. I guess like 20-ish years, 25 or 24 or something like that.
All right, y'all. So we're going for the last 20 minutes of our championship tonight. And we have 4 people with 200 points on the scoreboard. 9 out of 10 players got at least 1 flag. So all of the other ones have the easy flag. And hello, Arcade or Arcade or whatever the fuck that name is. Forkward. Felipe and Smoke Nerd all got the medium flag, the easy and the medium flag. So they have 200 points. But Hello still on first place because he got the easy flag and the medium flag first, before everyone else. So as I was saying at the beginning, the CTF is designed to give advantage to the people who submit the flag first. So even if it's a tie at the end and all of them get all of the flags, Hello might still win because he is the one who submitted first. So let's see what we're gonna have here in our last 20 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anybody try to exploit or try to execute through the MySQL yet. I think I've only seen the load file, and I'm curious.
Yeah, just the file IO. Can we look at Forkward and see what they're doing? I feel like they were pretty close. So here you have the real hacking and looking up how to do SQL injection. SQL injection tutorial, perfect. This is exactly how we do hacking. John Cusack in the chat saying their favorite championship would be 486 DX2X50 with the turbo button. I remember old computers having a turbo button. I didn't know if it actually did anything, or if it was just like, for show.
I love the turbo button because it's so cool. When you press the turbo button, it slows down the CPU clock, which is not what you'd expect. So it's a compatibility thing. Yeah, it was a compatibility thing where like old software couldn't run at the newer speeds. And so you would like hit the turbo button, it would slow down the clock speed so that the old software would run correctly. I think technically you would hit the turbo button, but it would normally be depressed. Much like myself. That was a bad joke. But it would normally be in. It would normally be in, and then you would hit it, and it would deactivate, which would slow it down. Or I don't remember exactly the mechanics of it. I know this because I was looking up. I wanted to write a song based on based on the turbo button, and so I learned a little bit about the history of it. Because I definitely had a computer with a turbo button, but I was like too young at the time to really understand what it did. I think I just hit it a bunch for fun, like.
Yeah, you thought it was like Chun-Li in Street Fighter. If you just press it fast, it like goes really fast.
Yeah. If I hit it a bunch, maybe my internet won't suck so bad.
Yeah.
I think my Neopets page will refresh a little faster.
Yes. Oh man, Neopets and Webkins, the greatest.
Yep.
I wish they'd stop hacking each other. All right. Well, who else did we have? Felipe was another late addition to the party, and I feel like Felipe and Hello were looking like they were in pretty good shape. Let's see what we got here. All right, so Felipe has some burp loaded up with this JWT page. I'm just like who is going to get the sequel first? Oh man, it is so close. I feel
They
like
definitely don't have much time. We're going for the last 15 minutes of the competition, so
ooh,
it is running out.
yeah. And here you can see the nice. Okay, so it looks like they found a page to get the contents of. And by the way, look at these notes, like we were talking about, grabbing some notes or taking notes while you work. So let's see. I feel like they found a page that they could read, and with a local file read, a good target is like configuration files, right, which might have credentials in them. So we'll let's see what happens here. I'm so curious because I feel like one of these players could definitely pull it out in the last 15 minutes. It's definitely coming up on time, but I think they can make it. So we're gonna read a file out. We're gonna write into the web directory. So I can't see past the compression, but it looks like they're gonna write a reverse shell into a file on the web server. Oh, there's proof of concept. So they're just seeing if they have arbitrary file right. So let's see if they get it. So they generate the JWT, put the JWT into the request, send the request. Okay, and then now we're going to see, did that file actually end up on the system? Go check. What are you doing?
I think the sequel is invalid. I think,
okay.
although it's hard to say, like he's getting that 500 internal server error. I would still go check just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, for sure. I would just do an HTTP request real quick and see, like, did FelipeVask.txt end up on the server? But I guess if you just like write to the file, write to like /temp, right? Because maybe the web server is not running out of var www HTML, and so you could write to /temp, which should be writable, and then do the file read and see if you get the contents back. That makes sense. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think the other thing that might be tripping him up is that I think he was going off of like I think that he sees that 500 internal server error.
Oh, it just
wrong.
got closer. Gabriel Vernilo also got the medium flag. So now there's 5 people with the easy and the medium flag. And we are approaching the last 10 minutes of our championship tonight. So
a real nail biter.
Yeah. Hello, Arcad or 4K or Felipe and Smoke Nerd and Gabriel Vernilo all running for the root flag. So, and we are almost in our last 10 minutes. This is woo.
This is serious. This could make us delirious. You should have a healthy fear of us, because too much of us is dangerous. So dangerous, so dangerous. I'm so scared for these last 13 minutes, 12 and a half minutes.
Oh man.
Oh, what's gonna happen? Did it look like the PHP file contents came back from that last one?
Yeah, that's the admin PHP. I don't think it's actually given him anything new though. I was saying though, like I think that the problem might be that he was expecting he's expecting to get output, but he was trying to write, and you may not get output when you're trying to write. So like
right.
I think like I mean it's also when he's successfully getting a GET request or something, it's a 200, not a 500. So maybe that is correct. Like maybe the 500 is indicative that it didn't load, but to try to write to a file and not check that it's there is gets me a little bit anxious, you know?
Yeah, you're missing like the back half of the step, or you're missing like the one of the two steps.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I wonder if like the flag is it like, you know, some subdirectory in flag.txt or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's like doing like just manual enumeration of trying to guess file names in this way is pain. It's just so painful.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dave, let's say that you're in this situation, and you've got like this arbitrary file read, and we've already agreed like you would try writing a file, right? And then you would also try to read that file. Let's say that you get the arbitrary file right to work and you verified that. What would your next step be here?
That's a good question. I think like arbitrary file write by itself may leave a little bit to be desired. I think that there's some options. If you can find out if there's like anything in cron to overwrite, like that's a good way to get a shell. Startup file is not as much in a CTF anyways. Like in reality, if I was actually, you know, trying to own a server, yeah, I would absolutely drop something like bash rc or whatever like context I'm running in, where I can get something that runs at startup. Because I'm patient, I can wait for a shell. But in CTFs, you usually don't have users logging in to give you a shell. You know, there are a number of mechanisms out there. If you have read write, that you can like stuff executable code in and get that execution to run. But like,
I feel like in this case, you know, because you're working through the web app, so you should have write access just into the web root.
Yep.
So I feel like you can just write.
PHP is running, so you can put a
Yep.
PHP shell in. Yeah.
I
think that would definitely be the
Venom or BTAC or whatever. But yeah, you could drop a web shell in there for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, put some C99 on there. Shout out to C99. My jam.
Go old school on it.
Even the backdoored version of C99, also my jam. I appreciated that too. So
yes. Do you know, like, do JWTs have any size limit on them? Like, do the libraries that handle them ever like seem to like truncate after a certain character count?
Not that I've seen. I've seen a lot of stuff shoved into JWTs. Like, I think you could probably get some. I mean, if you're trying to load like a whole like MSF Venom type shell, that might be a bit much. But you know, you could probably do a simple web shell super easily. A PHP web shell is one line, right? You could definitely fit that in. It wouldn't be pretty, but you could do it. But honestly, that's what I would do. I think at this point, I would definitely do that, just because like you're close enough at this point that like your only real logical next step is to get some sort of execution that lets you find the flag more easily. Because like, I guess you could use the arbitrary file read and try to get like bash history files or stuff like that. Like those, I guess I would also look for those, you know, especially if I haven't confirmed a write yet, which I don't know if we've confirmed a file write. You know, so looking at, scores are forbidden. I forgot.
All right.
Oh yeah, turned off the scoreboard in the last few minutes.
Yeah, the scoreboard was turned off. So now at the last 10 minutes, we don't have any visuals of the points. So
now we have to catch the person getting the final flag. That's the only way we can know.
Yes.
But yeah, good point there, right? If you can't confirm a file, right? In this case, I feel like we could, but since in the situation where you couldn't confirm a file, right, then looking at other good targets like bash history, less history, MySQL history, vimrc, those are all like really good candidates where you might find something that was not intended to be disclosed.
Yeah. I mean, you have to think like the person who made the challenge had to put the flag in somewhere. Like, you know, nano history files. You know, I think we saw that one last week. Like the cache version of the file. But yeah, I think the other thing too is like you may only get file read if you can insert into a table. Like I think that the way that he was trying to do the write was writing, you know, trying to select from something that didn't exist and write that to a file. And I don't think you can do that. So like, does your user, presumably you have write access to a table. Can you write in the shell that you want there and then select that into the file? Like, I think that's kind of the route that you have to take. And I don't know if we're going to see that, especially with only such a little amount of time left.
Ooh, someone gave up already here.
Oh no. Yeah, player number 4 has dropped. Do we recognize who it was?
I think number 4 dropped earlier too. It might be like a connectivity issue or something, or maybe they did just give up. But I did see them drop earlier. Yeah, Biggest. Okay, they're back now.
Nice.
Oh yeah, here they are.
Nice.
Where
and get it. Yeah, I know playing CTF in the past, I've definitely kind of gotten distracted trying to watch the scoreboard and see like what's going on. And I remember like playing OSINT CTF, I was like in the lead and then I wasn't in the lead. Ooh, I thought we just got the root flag on screen, but it was not it. And yeah, that became like super distracting for me, right? Thinking about like, oh man, like somebody else is catching up or they're overtaking me. And so I think this kind of a cool dynamic to disable the scoreboard so then you can't see and you have to kind of focus your attention back into the CTF and getting that final flag.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like that's kind of an interesting mechanic that you could implement even more. Like, I think it would be cool to just not have the scoreboard visible at all and you don't know what your position is. Like, I think that would actually be kind of fun. I mean, not for us, like as commentators, we obviously kind of need that. But like if you wanted to like give a kind of a new unique experience to the players, like you can see how many teams have solved a challenge, but you can't see which teams they are. And you can't see, how many challenges any other team has scored. And like that basically, it still gives you the, okay, this is going to be easier. Or a hard, this is more likely that I'm going to be able to solve it or less likely, but like, you don't get to like worry about the scoreboard. You just, you play it to see how you do. I think that's an interesting kind of idea. Probably would not go over very well, but
like, 5 last minutes, boys.
Ooh, we actually 4 now.
Actually 4 now, yeah.
Stick with us, and what we're going to do is we're going to raid the Brazilian stream of this, where all of the CTF challenges will be explained. So we'll meet up with the winner, and in English as well as Portuguese, we'll learn how the CTF challenges were made and how they were solved. So definitely stick with us. If you've made it this far, you owe it to yourself to find the answers. I, on the other hand, I'm gonna drop off. It was good seeing y'all.
I like, I actually, something that I've been thinking about lately is like, I have some puzzles that I've solved and never opened because I didn't want to know what was inside. I wanted that mystery to remain. And like, imagine just doing that in a CTF. Like you get to the point where like, yeah, I solved it. I don't really care what the flag is. I don't really care anything else. Like, that's.
Yeah, I was just in it for the thrill of the ride, and like I've had my thrill now. I don't really care, what the end looks like. I just wanted the thrill. But yeah, I really hope somebody gets it because they're obviously on the right track. I feel like they're really, really close. I'm going to be really disappointed if we go into the debrief at the end and Kadu is like, oh yeah, like after you got the SQL injection, then you were supposed to upload like a user defined function. And then from there, you were supposed to like priv-esc and then pivot out into like, outside of a container. And there was like 10 more steps to go or something, or like, no.
Yeah.
Like all this time we were saying they were close when in fact they were not.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't seen anybody trying to do a user-defined function yet. Like I thought that was something that we've seen by now. I think that the file read is sending people off kind of, this is the path to take. And maybe it is, maybe it's not, like that's actually the worst, right? When you find some vulnerability and you sit there and you work on it and you're like, because it's there, you assume it's the right way to go, but it's not. The worst.
Oh, I think we're about to get the root flag solved here. It's in the Interpol database. Here it comes. Okay. Oh
It's
my
just
God!
me, y'all. Oh
had to-
my God, what is going on?
You had to shoot somebody driving a car and then blow it up. Oh my gosh!
Wow,
I definitely could not win this CTF.
the bomb defusal CTF at DEF CON's really getting out of hand these days.
Yeah, this is going to be the next thing that Trump tweets out, I feel like. For everybody that's watching, this is how to steal an election, apparently.
You are correct, Vic. Hackers wear masks.
All right, so everybody pick somebody. Who do you think won? Who do you think won the CTF?
I don't know, because I'm torn in between Hell0 and Felipe, just because Felipe was like really submitting there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm torn.
Yeah, I have multiple ideas. I think Hell0 has the highest chance of it. But I'm rooting for Felipe's kind of the progress that he's been making. And from a personality perspective, I have only seen these people's screens. I'm voting for Four Chord.
Yeah, the person who got the 200 points first is Hell0. That's why I was like torn, because I was in between him or Felipe, because Felipe was like he came in very strong. He got a lot of points all of a sudden, and at the end there, it was really looking like he was almost there, so close. So I don't actually know. All right,
yeah,
so.
Dave and Vex, you're right. Like Hell0 and Marina, like you said, Hell0 has the highest chance.
Yeah,
go ahead.
just real quick. The staff is asking me to give them the okay so we can do the raid, and we're almost good. I think we're good to go, actually, right?
Yeah, we have crossed the threshold, so
we are good to go. So we have just finished here. Our CTF, it's over by now. So if anyone submits anything else, we won't count it. And that's pretty much it. That's over. And we're gonna just
find out who won.
Yes, we're gonna migrate to the other stream, and we'll see y'all there. And then we're gonna walk you through the flags. So we'll see you there. See you in a bit.
I'm betting on Fork Forward.
What? Bye.